Griffith is so kawaii.
No, he's not. Griffith did everything wrong.
Griffith did nothing wrong.
Shut up.
Is that Tim
Did
Allen?
you even watch Berserk?
I saw the 2016 rendition.
No.
Alright. So I'm gonna get this thing started. Hold on, let me get this thing. Alright. To those who don't know, Fire Emblem, created by Intelligent Systems, is a turn-based strategy RPG. Think XCOM, but with swords and dragons. However, what separates Fire Emblem from other RPGs of the time, like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, that focused on lighthearted adventure, Fire Emblem took a more serious approach with its storytelling. It contained a campaign with a story it wanted to tell, and had morally gray characters with deep motivations. With the success of Awakening and Fates, Intelligent Systems decided to remake the second game in the franchise, Fire Emblem Gaiden. That remake is Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia. Myself and a group of people will be discussing Echoes as a whole, and we will talk about how it holds up as a remake. So, would you two like to introduce yourselves? Lectorn?
No, not really. I don't want to introduce
Alright,
myself.
Tullus.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Lord Tullus. Or Dale, whatever you prefer. I do a little YouTube crappy stuff, just generic videos. Doesn't really matter. But yeah.
Sweet.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm Lectorn. I make anime cracks, and I do have actually a Fire Emblem 7 Let's Play on my channel right now, so go watch that, please. I'm desperate.
I mean, I'm
Wow.
desperate too, but I don't.
I was gonna shill you guys out at the end, but if you want to, do it right away.
Do it already. Stop watching this video. Go to my channel and subscribe
Twitter and
right
YouTube.
now.
Twitter and YouTube's in the description.
So stop watching this video. Go subscribe right now. Watch every part of my Fire Emblem 7 Let's Play, please.
Don't check out my content. It'll scar you for life.
Yeah, you just yell at us all the time. It's scary. First I'd like to talk about Echoes as a whole, so there will be spoilers. What did you guys think of the story?
Fantastic.
Who goes first?
Well,
Who goes first? So, tell us you go first. Tell us
Oh,
you go
I'm sorry. I just jumped in like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But okay, I don't think the story was perfect, but I think as a story for compared to the rest of the entire franchise, I think the story was pretty good. They expanded on the original fairly well, and aside from a few kind of iffy points here and there, I think Act 4 on Celica's side got a little crazy at some points, but overall I think it did a really great job. I enjoyed it, and I'm I love it. So
Lectron, what did you think about it?
I can't really add on much more. It was fantastic. I loved it. Honestly, because I had played Gaiden right before Echoes, right before, literally the day I got Echoes, I was finishing up and got my file of Gaiden corrupted. I'm not lying.
Rip.
I know. But I was finishing that, and the entire time I was thinking, this is a decent story, but it could have had some, extras to it. I was used to, the other Fire Emblem games where there's some kind of story bits before and after every chapter, but it was weird not seeing that before and after every battle. So
Well, that's mainly because of the time period it was in. Yeah.
It also, yeah. But, I was still thinking that, and so getting Echoes, and it was the first time I had played, it was the map when you get Silk, right after the tutorial one, that you actually see why they're going to save Silk, and it's because Alm overhears the bandits talking that they have some girl trapped in the shrine, and he goes into Rush, all Leroy Jenkins style, and that just caught me so off guard, and that's when I just sort of sat there and thought to myself, holy crap, this is going to be quite the ride, and it's going to be quite different from Gaiden. I loved it.
I mean,
so
we'll get to the similarities later on, but as a whole, what did you guys think of the story?
Again, fantastic.
Okay.
I thought it was great. A few minor instances here and there, but otherwise I think it was a very good
what
story.
are those minor instances? I'm legit curious, because I'm relatively new to Fire Emblem. I've only played Awakening, Birthright, and a bit of Conquests. And I just finished Echoes yesterday. So what are those minor things that get on your nerves?
Well, they don't really get on my nerves all that much because when I view a story, I try to rationalize from the character's point of view, and a lot of cliches like, oh, this guy's obviously a generic evil guy. Why are you following him? Well, I mean, they don't have like stories like Cinderella or the Wizard of Oz to like generalize, hey, they're generically evil. They don't have anything to go off of, so they're just like normal people to them. So like things like that, I try to generalize with the characters. But for the story, I think the story is good. It's probably like the third best in the franchise, at least in my opinion. But for the most part, the story is good. It's well written. Everything is cohesive, and it sticks along the same lines throughout, and it gives reason to everything. The characters are much more in depth. It's just overall a really engaging and emotional journey. IGN thought Fates.
No, I just realized what you were referencing, and no,
What?
Fates is not an engaging and emotional journey.
Oh. I
mean, like at this point, it's kind of a given to anyone who. It's kind of a given at this point that Fates was kind of lackluster on the story, and it may just be like we just came from Fates, and Awakening, which had kind of in the story department, to put it lightly, and just having a story that's just this thought out and well written and translated by 8-4, which did a really good job. It feels much better and really fresh and engaging. Just overall really really
I
good.
won't agree with that because the games I had played like right before Echoes were like Gaiden, 6, 4, and Path of Radiance. So these are all like known for their stories, with the exception of Gaiden. So I don't think it's just between Awakening and Fates that it's so much better, but more that just it's its own it's standalone. It's still an amazing story.
Oh yeah, standalone by itself, it's still a great story, of course. It is a good story. I'm not saying that compared to these other games, it has to be good when you compare it to those games. No, just standalone. It's a great story.
Yeah.
I actually need to go back and play Awakening because I judged it too harshly, like comparing it to other games. And Lectorn, like when I was first contacting him, we were talking about Awakening, and he was just like, no, like there's these cool like little points, like there's this battle in the desert, and as the battle goes out, people's stats get lower and lower as they're like demoralizing, and it's like, that's kind of interesting. And he even like pointed up, like in Awakening, there are two battlegrounds that are based off Gaiden. The two
Mila.
Yeah, Duma and Mila trees, which is...
Or no, it wasn't the Duma tree, it was the Demon's Angle, I think, which was in Japanese translated as Duma's Remains, but it got lost in translation.
Well, yeah.
But the Mila tree, they actually did show that in the ending of Echoes, which I thought was awesome.
No, yeah, I thought that was a beautiful touch. See, when people like criticize Fates, I think the one scene that sticks out to me is Xander's death in Birthright. But
that's not from Awakening.
I said Fates.
Oh, okay. I wasn't listening.
No, but a lot of people criticize it. I know this one guy like bashed it to pieces, but I thought it was very sweet because he actually did reference the choice you had to make, and it was like, you had to stick with this choice because that was the one you made. But
or you can buy Birthright. I mean, Conquest.
Yeah, fuck
buy Conquest.
But without the paywall,
I didn't have to die if you had just bought Conquest.
But when I compare that to Emperor Rudolph, who is quote unquote one of the villains in Echoes or Gaiden, when you actually like go through his story and actually look at hear Myson's tales and the memory prison that involves him, I almost teared up. I'm gonna be honest, because I cried.
Rudolph's awesome.
It was just like, this guy wasn't so bad. and there was this is where the morally complex characters comes in that I mentioned at the beginning. Is, you know, these people aren't bad. Well, of course there are like inherently douchebags, but there are the characters that are like, no, they do it for a specific reason.
Even like Berkut, I ended up like feeling sad at his death. You know?
Oh, yes, like
Berkut
his death was tragic
the entire time.
it was a tragedy.
He killed the love of his life and then ended up dying in battle because he was so overwhelmed by having someone take a position from right under him.
And that position, I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but that position was just, it was the only thing that really mattered to him, and it was his life. All his life he was taught, you know, be powerful. You know, you're destined for the throne. Well, he wasn't really exactly taught that he was destined for the throne. Obviously not, but. Mm-hmm. But like all his life, that was his drive. His drive was to be the emperor, and just,
him and Renea, his wife,
taken away from him. Like, dude, that's heartbreaking.
And it's also heartbreaking on Alm's side because, you know, you have
he killed his last family.
Yeah, he had to kill his last family member. You know, the only blood, like flesh and blood family member. Like we have Mycen as
sort of a adoptive grandfather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you know.
No, like I don't care. Actually, we should go on to that because, in Gaiden they didn't have as much characters as they do in Echoes because they actually did add in characters. What did you think of Fernand? What did you think of Fernand's character? Because I thought he was decent.
I
thought he was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, there are a couple things like his 180 at the very end of his spoilers. He dies, but at the end of it, at the end of, you know, his long arc, like, I mean, as a character, you sympathize with him, you understand what his motives are, and you know, I thought he was a pretty decent villain. I mean, like when you have characters that do 180s at their deaths, like I think that's more of just, you know, a realization that, you know, they've wronged and they want to make things right even on their deathbed. I mean, I understand why some people might want to do that, but overall he was a very good villain. I thought.
Well, my only problem with him was they insinuated a relationship between him and Matilda. I don't know if that's explained in the DLC, but it was kind of. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I did watch someone play the DLC a couple days ago, and through the DLC you get extra memory prisms, which why weren't they in the game to begin with? Oh, but through the DLC, it's shown that, you know, Clive and Fernand are good friends and, you know, knights, brothers in arms, and you know, Fernand. It's actually implied in the other DLC as well that he, you know, he kind of has a thing for Matilda. So it's just you know, Clive got her first, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I understood Fernand's like motivations because he was a noble. His place was burned down by
commoners.
Yeah, commoners because he couldn't sustain them. So it was kind of.
They blamed him, and they burned down his house and killed his family, and I mean, when that stuff happens to you, you hold a grudge.
Yeah, he does develop a grudge, but it's understandable why. What other characters did they add?
Oh, they added Conrad and Faye. And
don't even talk about Faye.
Conrad first, because I want to get to Faye later.
I do too. Oh, and I've got quite an interesting opinion about her. But
what did you guys think of Conrad?
Yeah. Conrad, I knew exactly who he was as soon as he showed up. There was no mystery at all, aside from thinking, "Hey,
same hair color." Like, are you kidding me? Celico's talking to Bowie about how, oh, you remind me of my brother, but he died in that fire. You get a memory prism. Oh, where's Conrad? Where's Conrad? My little brother. I can't leave without him. And Mycen didn't say I found his corpse. He said I didn't find anyone. And then a random cavalier shows up that looks like it could be Celica's brother with red hair and everything.
To those who don't know, plot twist: Conrad is Celica's brother.
Are you kidding me?
It was just so obvious, but I mean, to the characters there, it isn't obvious. So you got to think that, you know, it may be obvious to us. I mean, we've seen countless cliches, but them, no, it's still just as much a mystery to them. So,
well, that's the thing. That's why I want to bring up is because, yeah, it was like, okay, there's a chance that this couldn't be Celica's brother, even though it is. But when they actually did reveal him, and they went through his supports with Celica, I thought he was kind of cute. Like, he just had this really charming personality about him.
Yeah, I liked Conrad too. I mean, as a Unity, he's pretty good, but as a character, he's pretty decent. He talks about, you know, taking off that mask when Celica's around, just because, you know, they want like a better relationship than just this guy that's there to protect her. No, it's more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too, but it's mostly just the build-up of who Conrad was. You could see it coming from a mile away. That annoyed me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Speaking of things that annoyed Lectorn, let's talk about Faye now.
Shut up.
Yes.
No. Don't even
Let us talk about
Lectorn, would
that.
you like to go first?
I hate Faye.
To those who don't know, Faye is a new character they added as a villager that goes along...
Villager? More like a villain.
That goes on alms route. And you can... Yeah. But what makes her unique from the other characters is that she is strongly dedicated to alm to the point where she is a yandere.
And not really. I mean, she doesn't try and go out of her way to kill Alm's allies, at least.
Oh no, she's not like yandere, but she's
Celica
like...
would be dead.
And I know they go on like at the end of her, like her title card or whatever at the end of the credits.
Her ending, yeah.
Says that she does marry someone,
but she still
only
goes
like,
off, you know, days at a time and worries her family. Like,
well, the only
what is
condition
she
was
doing?
that the only condition was, oh, he doesn't mind that she thinks of failed or she thinks of Alm all the time.
I mean, the thing that, you know, gripes a lot of people, and me included, about Faye is that she's always about Alm and there's nothing else to her character. And I get that. I mean, she's basically Alm central, and they needed something to fill like the Camilla and Tharja archetype that they've built up now. And at first I really hated Faye and her character and just how terrible she was, and her support with Silk, she was just the worst little imaginable. And
to those who don't know, Silk's support conversation with Faye, so little dialogues that they can have in between battles, is mainly dedicated to Silk trying to be Faye's friend, but Faye doesn't want to because she only wants to think about Alm, the main character.
And
I love the way Mangs described it. He's like, Silk's like, hey, Faye. And then Faye says, "F off, you're not Alm."
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Silk even goes on to the point where it's like, why don't we talk about Alm? Nah.
Nah, it's not interesting to talk about Alm unless Alm is there.
Yeah.
And she's like, what in the world just happened? And I'm like, a just happened. So a real high class.
There are 3 things that I like about Faye. I will admit that she does have some good qualities.
Okay.
1, she makes a really freaking good cleric.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started.
Yeah, she's amazing.
What does she invoke? Just out of curiosity, because I had her as a Pegasus
she doesn't.
Knight.
I don't think she invokes.
Yeah, she doesn't learn invoke.
But she does learn a new, which is like a 24 HP cost dancer move, like adjacent.
But it's fine because it's a dancer move, and in Echoes that's extremely useful.
Yeah, it was the only way I was able to beat the last boss.
My second thing that I like about her is actually her A support with Alm.
Oh yeah, the A support is actually something that I wanted to talk about just a little bit, if you don't mind. Now, Faye up until this point has been, Alm, I'll kill in your name, and I'll just, you know, I'm happy to kill you in your name. And Alm's just a little bit worried about her, like, you know, the war has taken quite a toll on her. And she's like this real to Silk, and her A support with Silk is just, you know, apologizing. But that doesn't mean, hey, you know, I still haven't forgiven you for how you behaved to Silk out of nowhere. But But the thing is, like, she's just this little villager girl with a crush that she's hanging on to a fantasy world of her own, and just going about and just not really looking at reality, just seeing, hey, Alm doesn't really like you that way, but she still wants to keep hold of those feelings. And I think that was a nice touch with how they handled it. But like, if she had like one more support and just, you know, something else than just Alm all the time and a pretty face, like.
No, yeah, I did adore that conversation, mainly because, excuse me, they weren't being complete idiots about it. Like, they didn't go complete anime. And what I'm talking about is, oh, I absolutely like you, boy. They handled it in a very mature way. When the war is over, would you like to come back to the village and we can plow fields together? And it was very, like, much insinuating that she wanted to marry him. But wasn't a complete idiot.
Of course she does.
Yeah, but was just like, you know, Selik, I understand that you like me in that way, but I don't like you that way. And it was just very maturely handled, I think. As opposed to, like, a Fate's support where it's like, I like you. Meh, I like you too, for no reason. F***ing Niles and Oboro support. Bullshit.
I never saw that support.
No, it goes... because Oboro has this really deep hatred for Norians.
Yeah.
And Niles
Norians
has this Niles.
You almost said Norgan scum, didn't you?
Yeah, shut up. Niles has this habit of making sexual innuendos. So their S support, the support that has them marry off each other, is, why are you making weird faces? And Niles would say, well, it's because I kind of like you and I want to try doing my best. And it was just so forced.
Yep.
Like, I adore Oboro in her own way, and I do like Niles because he is, you know, just a silly, over, like, sexual character that's more funny than anything. But
Yeah, Niles is cool.
yeah, but their interactions together wouldn't indicate, like, an S support. They're not S support worthy.
They aren't.
There are a lot of characters that are not as support worthy. Even in Awakening, some things just felt really forced. Like, I don't know.
Wait, aren't
over
S support worthy? Like Corrin with anyone?
Or Corrin with his
if you
cousin.
can't tell, I really don't like Corrin. There's like
I
one
don't think
character in
anyone
each
likes
game,
Corrin.
except for those people.
I like Birthright Corrin, because that's the
Birthright
only
Corrin is
time.
great.
That's
Well,
the
not
only
great.
time I will accept his naivety.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Yeah.
It makes
Or she.
sense. Or she.
Yeah, I think female Corrin fits Birthright better, at least in my opinion. But I just can't go without
haven't
Felicia
played-
the first few times. But you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
I haven't played Revelations yet, so I wouldn't know
Don't.
what his.
Just don't.
Don't waste your money, bro.
But that boss
Exactly.
battle.
It is not worth it. Like, some of the support conversations are cool. Like, you know, seeing the opposite side.
Well, that's mainly why I want to
interact with
buy
each
it, is because I want to. I consider myself the shipping lord. I just love having these characters interact with each other, and I think that's a strong suit that Echoes does well. Is there are canonical shippings or canonical pairings, and they don't go out of their way to be fan servicey. Like, obviously, having support conversations is a form of fan service because you do have these characters interacting with each other, but it's not like, oh, I want Tobin to marry off with Claire. It's not like that. It's specifically
no, it's not gonna happen.
It's
No,
great.
the
It's
game won't
great.
allow it. See, the thing is, with and that's a good transition back into Echoes. Cut that out.
Yep.
So, the
It's
thing
this
about
wizardry I have.
the thing about Echoes and its support conversations and how they handled the canon pairings, like, there were so many canon pairings from Gaiden that if you just cut everything out and just change things and allow the shipping lords to do their thing, it would just mess up so much with the story that it would just, I don't know, it just wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't feel like,
'cause it's
like what
specifically
they were
supposed
trying
to
to
be
get by
Celica
with,
that's the queen.
this being a Gaiden remake.
For example, like, what would be the incentive behind saving Matilda? Like, going out of their way to saving
Because
Matilda?
it's f***ing Matilda.
Exactly, but they did it in the story because it's Clive's
love interest.
Fiance.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's Clive's fiance. She helps make the deliverance with him, with him in mind. If they weren't, if he could match up Clive or Matilda with anyone, where's the incentive to saving her?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because it's shipping.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like, if things don't match up story wise, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't make everything flow as good. And I think that's one of the importances of having these canon relationships. And besides, I kind of got a little tired of just having to ship everything together. And, while people get their kicks from that, and I understand that, and I respect that, like, hey, it's fun every once in a while to do that. But like, every once in a while, I'd like to have at least one canon pairing that wouldn't change no matter what, and just, I'd like to have something that's stagnant and actually, that they set up instead of just me having to go through and put in the effort just to make something that I want to happen.
And also, like, I like what they did with Clive and Matilda. They are love interests, and it is very apparent in their support conversations that they love each other. I mean, that's literally their entire conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do something like Pence and Louise, where they already have an A support with each other, but have these special conversations that you have to seek out.
Like Pence and Louise from Fire Emblem 7?
That's what I was just saying.
Oh, I'm not paying attention then. Sorry.
That's fine.
Could
I think
you?
It means Slowies.
Okay.
No one gets that reference. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't.
It's okay. You don't have to.
I don't have to. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's an inside joke. Sorry.
Do I have to play Fire Emblem 7?
No.
No, you just have to watch Mangs a lot.
Ah, god damn it.
I mean, you don't have to. It's still your choice. I mean.
No, yeah.
Yeah. No. He has to. Because our Papa Bald Man, he needs more views.
I mean, yeah, his content is good.
I'll just replace you guys with Mangs and the...
Gast?
No, not Gast. Who's the guy with the avatar with the knight armor?
Blazing Knight?
Blazing Knight.
Oh,
I'll just have him instead. Because he has a nice accent.
His accent is...
Accent.
Come on, it's just an accent. Okay, we're getting off track a little bit here, aren't we?
Very.
I did enjoy the support conversations, but there was also another problem that ended up being like a debate with myself is there wasn't enough support conversations.
Here's the thing.
Here's my thing. With Awakening, I thought there was a decent amount of support conversations. You could ship everybody, but it wasn't as extreme with Fates, where, as I mentioned before, some pairings or some support conversations just doesn't make sense. In Echoes, nice amount of support conversations, canonical pairings, and everything flew smoothly. However, there were some characters that I would have loved to have more support conversations with other characters. For instance, Faye, I would like to see her interact with other people, like maybe Cliff or
her own brother,
Ray,
or possibly even Celica and like maybe post game stuff.
Actually, yeah, definitely. Like, give us more incentive to do post game stuff. On Celica's side, I'd like to see more support conversations with Saber, because I think his only support is with Jesse, and that's basically, hey, I heard you did cool stuff. I did do cool stuff. You want to make an empire? Yeah, let's make an empire. It's just...
That's the entire thing. That is the entire thing right there.
But the main person I want conversations with is Genny, because the only person...
Genny.
She's a precious little cinnamon bun, and I would like
I'm
to
ready
experience...
to roll.
She's so precious. Just.
She's not on my main team. How does that make you feel?
And for a certain someone, it's not a lolly. She's 14.
She looks like she's 8.
Oh.
She's precious, though.
No, she looks like it. She's actually, what? How old is Genny?
She was 14.
She is 14?
She is 14.
Okay. I said she looks like she's 8.
No, but they go off, like, her end card sequence is she marries off a person they would never have mentioned, or they would never have thought of her marrying. And it's like, well, where'd this personality come from?
There is one conversation with Celica, like one of the base conversations.
Yeah, where she says
where
that
she says
she
wants to marry an older man because then she'd feel protected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She
No,
just,
oh, yeah, she-
Whoa! How many Ks did you just say?
What?
How many Ks did you just say?
I think I said cake. Oh, Jesus.
I knew it.
I didn't get that. What?
I said KKKK.
No, you said 3 of them.
No, sorry, Tullus. I was interrupting you, but you also wanted to make a point about conversations.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh right, yeah. The DLC. I don't think we're gonna talk about the DLC for too long. I haven't played any of it, but I believe that some of the support conversations in the main game are locked by DLC. Like you do get the support bonuses in game, like if you have them stick around each other for a while. But like I think Clive and Python is one of them that's locked behind DLC, and you can't get the support until you play that DLC. A specific DLC with them in it, and then you unlock these support conversations. And it's the same thing with a couple others as well. And
that's like the Rise of Deliverance DLC, right?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I just found something out. Genny is 15, not 14, so the comments, please don't crucify us.
Okay.
She's still a precious cinnamon roll. That's the point.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to get crucified by the comments.
At least in Japan, she's legal.
God damn it. No, nobody touches her.
Wrong.
Nobody touches her.
Well, she's been married off, so...
And I want to find that man and punch him. Nobody touches
For
my
what?
daughter. Nobody touches my daughter. End of story.
Well, okay, it's kind of creepy if you want to touch your daughter, but to each
No,
their
nobody
own, I guess.
nobody touches my daughter. Not even me. She's precious. She must be protected.
Oh my god.
see, people are like, oh, yay, Fire Emblem Echoes, no fan service. Nope, there's a ton of fan service. You just have to make a...
Yeah, you just have to make your own.
Like Sonya?
Pretty much.
I actually do like Sonya as a character.
So do I.
I think she's pretty cool. Her support with Genny is nice.
Yeah.
I've only unlocked C support with that, to be honest.
I've unlocked all the supports. At least once. But
can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I thought it was so cool that she was the daughter of Jeddah and sister to Hestia and Marla.
That was
Yeah, she was in Gaiden. She was in Gaiden too. Yeah.
I know, but I didn't get to that part. So.
Well, she was hinting at it during her conversations in like buildings and stuff like that. Like she had sisters and she was the daughter of Jeddah.
I knew that, but I wasn't she wasn't on my party at all times, so
okay.
I didn't see all the conversations with her.
Right. Well, the thing about Sonya is that like her ending is really depressing. At least in my opinion, it's kind of
depressing. Like
there are a lot. Actually, the one thing I do want to talk about this for a second, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that what I've played Gaiden quite a bit, and the one thing that I
Quite
really
a bit. You played it 7 times.
Yeah, 7 times. That's quite a bit. A lot.
That's
Whatever.
Quite a bit's an
Anyway,
understatement.
The one thing that I really liked from the original Gaiden was how, depending on who lived and who died, the endings, like the canon endings especially, of characters would change, and they would have these super, super depressing endings. Like, for example, if you killed off Tobin in the original Gaiden, or as he was known, Robin.
They should have kept it as Robin, because Tobin sounds really dumb.
Yeah, they changed it to keep with, consistency and such, and I got used to Tobin. But the thing is, if you killed him off in the original Gaiden, Gray, it doesn't even mention about Claire. It talks about how Gray just drank his life away because he was so depressed that his best friend died. And it's almost the same, like in Echoes. Like it talks about how, Gray almost lost himself to the devil's drink, and he was only saved by Claire, and they did live happily
the same thing,
together.
They did, they did with Leon, didn't they?
Or did they? Autumn, I didn't. I didn't, like, I reset every time someone died, which I actually didn't have that much of a problem with, but I did that. So I didn't get to see all these until I looked them up on the wiki.
Yeah, I had to purposely kill off a few units in the final chapter just to make it happen, because if it wasn't in the final chapter, I would just go back to the revival shrines and just say, yep, bring this person back to life.
That's what I did while training.
I'm
like, oh, this person died and I already have like 8 levels on these people? Yup, a revival shrine it is.
I have a question about the revival shrines, because I always reset the game, or like used Milla's turn wheel, so that they didn't die. Are the revival shrines infinite? Like, can you use them over and over again?
No, they would be broken if they were infinite. In Gaiden and in Echoes, on Celica's side, you have 3 uses of the revival shrines. So you can revive people 3 times on Celica's side. And on Alm's side,
is the same.
It's the same thing, except there's a hidden shrine where you can revive 3 more. In Gaiden, this was...
Wait, there's
5, I think, but it was split between defense. Like you could give a point of defense or revive someone. So,
yeah, revival. You know, like we were talking about earlier with Tobin and Gray, the same is vice versa. Like if Gray dies and Tobin's alive, I'm reading on the wiki right now. In Gaiden, they didn't have that for Tobin. It's just no matter what, as one of the Knights of the Kingdom, he works towards the restoration of Valentia. But in Echoes, if Gray is dead, Tobin's ending is unable to move past Gray's death. Tobin abruptly vanished before reappearing just as suddenly 7 years later. At King Alm's suggestion, he joined the One Kingdom's Brotherhood of Knights. The talkative, playful Tobin of old, however, was forever gone.
Like, the thing that I still love to this day about Gaiden and Echoes is just how the way that you play the game and the whether you decide to keep people alive or not just impacts the endings of so many different characters, and it's like the death actually affects them. This has not been done, as far as I know, this has not been done in any other Fire Emblem game. Like, they just have their generic endings. It's just, if they die, oh, well, it doesn't matter. We'll just go on with this ending. But in Gaiden and in Echoes, it's just, these deaths mean something. They really affect these characters.
Yeah, like, I know you really like Bowie, Tullus, right?
Oh, yeah, I like Bowie a lot.
Yeah, if May dies, Bowie's ending is, only after losing May did Bowie realize the nature and intensity of his feelings for her. Racked with regret, he poured himself into his work, ultimately succeeding Noma as High Priest of the Priory. He spent his life there aiding the poor and humble, yet rewarding... Wait, what?
Oh,
you got that one?
He was really struck with regret, and instead of just mulling over it so much and just being depressed all the time, he tried to put as much effort as he could into his work. And he didn't really live happily, but he lived a successful life and succeeded Noma as like the Priory guy or whatever. And I didn't actually get May's single ending either, so I didn't get that one. So I don't know what happens if Lectorn, if you could look that up.
I'm checking it. Yeah, I'm checking it right now. Let's see. If Bowie dies, her ending is, after the loss of her verbal sparring partner, Bowie, May fell into a deep depression, but the encouragement of her friends eventually helped light return to her life. She spent her days helping others at the Priory, where she was beloved for her kindness and wicked humor.
Okay, so
she was actually depressed for a while.
Yeah, it does affect them, but like in Gaiden, it was. I mean, they had limitations with Gaiden, but with Gaiden, it was much more straightforward. That they
literally,
stayed depressed forever.
Like, if Bowie was dead in Gaiden, her ending was she sustains a bit of shock from the loss of her bicker buddy Bowie. That's it. That's it. Although I do love that they said bicker buddy Bowie.
Bicker buddy. The thing is with it just struck me how no other Fire Emblem game has done something like this. And
now,
I mean, unless I'm wrong. I mean, am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Right. Well,
the comments will crucify us and correct us anyways, so it's fine.
The fact that no other game did this, it just makes me realize how ahead of its time, for the franchise at least, it was. And I think it just means a lot more when the deaths mean something. Instead, it's just some joke that you can just, put off. But when you actually get down to it, the game is going to make you feel guilty that you made these decisions, that you either didn't reset, you didn't revive them, or you didn't use the turn wheel, or you just, made real careless mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it did this, it just left me in awe of, if they remake this game, I hope to God that they keep this, because this is just pure gold. This is just one of the best things about Gaiden, and I'm glad they did.
Same. Although I could talk about this for hours straight, we gotta get this moving.
I like Python's character. No, not Python. I like Leon's character.
Leon's character is nice. Actually, there's not a single character in this game that I hate. Like, I do not hate a single character in this game. Like, everyone.
I would say same, actually, now that I think about it, except Faye.
Yeah, but Faye, I mean, I don't hate Faye. I mean, sure, she has some issues, but, I mean, I have my own reasons.
Earlier, I said there are 3 reasons. There are 3 things that I like about Faye. I forgot to say the third one. Do you guys know why Faye was created?
Why?
To shoot down all those fans that thought fan service and shipping would be a thing.
Oh.
That is straight up what it was. And it is amazing because it's like, Faye and Alm would be so amazing together. Yeah, because, Faye and Alm would be so cute together. I wonder what's their S support. A support? Hey, Faye, no, I don't like you. You can go back alone. I'm staying in Zofia. And it's like, that's it. No S support here. And it's freaking amazing.
I do like that they kind of try to send it home that this is not, shipping Emblem. This is not waifu Emblem. This is a game where, your characters have lives and you can't just ruin it with your fantasies.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
it never ruined it before, but
I think you can have multiple shippings.
Change the direction drastically.
I think you can have multiple shippings. It's just, again, treat them with respect kind of idea. Like, make sure they have, like, sense behind them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Do you guys want to talk about the mechanics? Because
yeah,
I think that's the one thing I don't like about. I don't like is a really harsh way of putting it, but my main problems with Echoes is from the mechanics.
The mechanics on normal. I don't know if either of you played normal mode, but I play. Oh my god, I played the game 3 times. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ. I skipped a bunch of dialogue, but anyway, normal mode is basically 1-to-1 Gaiden, with a few differences that the game decided to change, because remake. But hard mode changes things up a bit, and the mechanics. Dear God, the Mire spell and the Death spell.
Oh, I hate them.
I tried to find something good in it. But no,
because I think
it's
Lectorn and I did play it on hard, didn't we?
Yeah, I played hard classic first time through.
Same here.
I played it the second time through, and I was amazed that I actually had to restart for a couple times. Like, I mean, normal mode, it was pretty simple. I've played it on Gaiden enough times to know what to do and be prepared. But no, I actually had to give up on using Est for hard mode, and I had to actually go and grind her up. Like, there are.
I couldn't do anything with the Pegasus sisters. I was just so far into the game, and it was like, I can't grind you people. You have to stay in the
still grind.
Oh yeah, it's in my mind, grinding just it slows down the game, and I was on the 3rd act or whatever, so it was like, oh yes, more of this. Keep going. This is good.
Oh yeah.
I think I only used the Pegasus sisters for their triangle attack, which I thought was a very clever way of using arts and multiple people.
Clever with the whole art thing, but it kind of ticked me off because, and I get why they nerfed it. In the original Gaiden, if you used all 3 Pegasus sisters, the triangle attack was if it hit, like, you could miss the triangle attack, unlike in other games. But if you hit, it was an instant critical, ignoring defense. And it could also be activated on enemy phase if the conditions were right. So, and that is overpowered. Combined with the fact that in Gaiden, Pegasus Knights, they didn't, when promoted to Falcon Knights, they did super effective damage against the against all monsters. And in Echoes, they nerfed it to just plus 10 damage. And they nerfed the triangle attack too, which I get why, but like if it's going to cost me 10 HP and risk me killing off S when I'm trying to train her with minimal grinding, at least make it a guaranteed crit. I mean, come on. A lot of times I just was baffled at how tedious some of the things were. Like the spells, the archers everywhere. Like the archers, people said, oh, the archers are good now. You know, they can, no more archer curse. No, the curse is on you now because they attack from everywhere at every single point, and if you can't take a hit, you're dead. That kind of thing. But thankfully, they still can't hit anything.
You know, I had two problems with triangle attack and archers, like you were saying. Triangle attack, like I consistently had like a 57% critical. I maybe hit like 1 out of 4 times because I was so unlucky. And the second thing with archers, I ended up having to stop using Forsyth and Python. 1, because I never used Forsyth because he's kind of shitty. And 2, because Python, he could not take a hit from anything.
My canon of why Python, like my head canon of why Python always misses, because it's the same thing with you, is that he doesn't care? He's so f***ing lazy. He just doesn't care.
I mean, and that's what's great about him. He doesn't give a crap. He just wants to, you know, do the bare minimum.
Yeah, but when you have a 70% chance of getting a f***ing crit, I expect you to do the bare minimum, if not more.
Yeah, a lot of people say that Forsyth is bad, but like really Clive, Forsyth, and Python, like in order to even use them, you just have to go back through the Deliverance Shrine and just, you know, go through there and get them promoted. Because I mean, a lot, like if there's one thing that stays true to original Gaiden, it's promotion emblem. Like if you don't promote, you're gonna have a tough time with the game. And like people say, oh well, Python is crap. Did you try promoting him yet? No, then promote him. Otherwise, he's not gonna get the boosts he needs to be able to deal sufficient damage and not get doubled and killed by everything.
No, yeah, like with Forsyth, I always thought he was sucking at attacking, but he did have really good defense as a knight, and I really
like the main reason you even want a Baron is just defense all day, every day. And the way that Gaiden is designed, you can get attacked from multiple angles with the archers having 5 range with the bow. And just everything is you have a bunch of choke points and enemies all around. Like if you don't have defense, your pretty much only selling point is either your speed or attack, and you have to rely on just how far away you are from the enemy to make sure you don't get killed, or you need to kill them in 1 round. Or I mean, defense isn't the best stat, but it's still a very good asset to have at least 1 tank on your team. And Forsyth was a very good tank for me until I went on hard mode and just made Cliff a knight and wrecked face all day, every day.
Oh yeah, like at the beginning, Matilda and Clive were just absolutely useless, but I grinded Matilda to the bone, and now she's like going up against like people she probably shouldn't be. And she's getting crits because I gave her Doom, and I gave her Duma's Lance, so she's getting crit after crit. And it's amazing.
Oh, you gave her Duma's Lance too?
Yes.
Nice.
I gave her the Rumfea like almost every time I wasn't using Claire.
I gave Gray the Rumfea because he actually has max speed. I don't know how he max speed, but he did it, and it's awesome.
Well, you got lucky because I don't know. Gray is just
off-on character for you.
He's only good as a mage, baron, or mercenary, because mercenary is on its own tier. Like everything else.
Yeah, mercenary dread fighter is just freaking OP as hell because, I mean, seriously,
half magic damage.
Just like infinite loop.
Oh yeah, the loop too. My God, that if it wasn't for the loop, I wouldn't have been able to beat the post game.
I know, same. Well, except for because I looped them all. I kept looping like Gray as a mercenary, and then I changed him to Cavalier, and then did all that so he's like a max gold knight.
Oh yeah, that's how you max his speed. Like that's one of the only ways
that's
you
how
can
I max
max his speed. Like if you said that you maxed his speed from making him a Cavalier to a gold knight from the start.
No,
like,
that would not
no,
work.
God, no.
Yeah, no, hell no. Okay, I'm not sure if ended up like this for you guys, but does your Celica have more strength than your Alm?
No.
Not generally, but Celica does have a pretty high strength growth. The thing with Celica, I think, is just that she's supposed to have a lot of strength and speed, but she never has speed for me. She never has a lot of speed.
She has a decent amount of
crazy high strength and speed. Again, I did overclass and I have maxed out overclass because I got bored after I beat Grima. But so at level 20 Regain, which is like really level 60 for Celica, she has 44 attack and 41 speed. So keep that 44 attack in mind. I have a maxed out level 60 Alm once you add them all up. He has 35 attack.
Really?
That's 9 less attack than Celica.
I mean, that's without like his weapon, right?
No, yeah, that's without his weapon. That's without Celica's weapon.
Yeah, that's a lot of attack, man.
And since I gave Celica the Lady Blade, she has plus 20 attack, while Alm has plus 10 or 12, depending on whether he's wielding the Royal Blade or the Falchion.
Yeah, I didn't go over class.
What's her resistance like, just out of curiosity?
Oh, resistance?
Because mine is like really poor.
Oh, everyone has really poor resistance.
No, like Delphia has really good resistance, like of 16.
I forgot how much resistance my Delphia has. But some come with really, really high base resistance. Like that's why Matilda was so good in Gaiden for me, because she could clear Delphia's map.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matilda is fantastic. Like 10 base res in Gaiden and Echoes, like really, that's great. I think the other units that have high res are Genny, Noma, Tatiana, yes, her, and Delphia.
Silk has some good resistance.
My Tatiana has 20 my Tatiana has 20 resistance, and then I gave her Draco Shield, so she effectively has 33.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like, Tatiana is just
amazing as a magic tank.
Not just amazing, she's the best. There's no one better.
Best girl.
Not even that much. Like 8-4 did a good job with translating, like an excellent job with the writing and translating everything, but they got the title wrong. The title should be Tatiana Emblem. Legend of Fortify.
We'll get to
Legend
the
of
translation.
Fortify.
We'll get to the translation later. No, but back to my main complaints with the mechanics is, I don't know if it's like that for you, but there were legitimate problems with me hitting characters.
Oh yeah, I think it's
like I think it was like a game bug or something, because what would happen is I made Cliff an archer, and he's a damn good archer. Like, he hits more than Python does, at least.
Oh yeah, Cliff is amazing as anything. So,
but he'd be having like a 75% chance of hitting something. I would hit him, it misses. Okay, Miller's wheel, turn back, misses. Miller's wheel, misses. It isn't until I actually have a melee unit come in, hit him, and then Cliff hits.
Well, that's the thing. The Miller's turn wheel doesn't reset the player RNG. It doesn't reset the RNG.
But it's
unless you change something. Yeah, but the 75%, it's 75%. Like, I think it's almost confirmed, anything but confirmed at this point, that Echoes uses single RNG like Gaiden did. Although it's not as noticeable as Gaiden, because of the arts. Like, if you had trouble hitting, you could have used the arts, or did you?
Actually, I think I was using arts.
Yeah, the arts help a lot with hitting.
I don't know. That was just one of my main problems was how that was implemented, because I don't know. I think it was out of sheer frustration. Just hit the damn person. I need you to hit him.
Yeah, that happens with every Fire Emblem game, but more so with the ones that have single RNG, especially Gaiden. But I guess it's just a matter of with Echoes they fixed the RNG, but it's still single RNG. So it's like, 95% chance to hit. Come on, hit. Nope, you're not gonna hit. It's 95, not 99.8 or something like that. But yeah, the RNG is a bit of a problem sometimes, but it's not. I didn't really find it all that bad. Maybe it's because I'm extremely biased towards this game, but just I found out that a lot of the strategies that I used back in Gaiden work really well. Um, Another thing about the mechanics that I don't know if Fenichi, I don't know if this was just bad for you, but what I found really annoying to deal with was the magic. Like a lot of times, like the mire and the death. Like most of your units had low res, so like it was just painful to deal with that.
See, I always try to keep my distance with those because they had like ranges of 5, so I didn't go in unless I knew I could actually go in. So there'd be occasions where it's like, okay, this guy has mire, but mages generally have low defense. So what I would do is I'd have like Saber run in and chop him up, and he has Sunder, so he has like a good chance of getting a crit. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with the mages is generally they do have low defense, but they have decent and okay, like average defense for the mages in Echoes. But I think the problem with this is that since your attack is just counted off of what you have equipped as your weapon, and it's like with other Fire Emblem games, if you have a good weapon on you, you can deal a lot more damage. But in Echoes, it's just, you know, this just boosts your attack a little bit, and with some other intricacies to it too. So it just means that you're going to be doing a lot less damage generally. At least that's what I find.
Okay. Now, I actually want to know about your guys'... This kind of goes in with mechanics, more or less our game design, but what did you guys think of the dungeons? How were they implemented?
I thought they were great.
I thought they were nearly fantastic. There were a few times near the end where it got a little bit tedious, but as long as you know your way around the dungeon and, you know, you don't try... and unless you go out of your way to grind, there's no real... The game doesn't force you to grind, so it doesn't feel as tedious. The only time that the dungeons feel tedious is when
Act 6.
As in Act 6 at the very end when you have to go through that huge labyrinth all over again if you die to like a lucky crit or something.
Celica, floor 9, unlucky crit.
Really? Mine was with Alm a zombie. How do you think I feel?
Mine was just being either under-leveled on floor 9, and I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to fight anything. I'm just going through it, not fighting anything. I had to loop Jesse into a Baron so he can get from Feo with his 38 speed. And just... the dungeons were great, but like after a while, they do get a little tedious. But if you just, you know, play through the game normally and don't really bother with the post-game that you don't really need to play, it doesn't overstay its welcome, so it's good for a while. It just drops off near the very end.
Yeah, because my problem with it actually started off with what was it? The castle, Rudolph's castle. That entire dungeon where you go off to face Berkut. It took me a while to the point where it's like, okay, I'm dying. Can you like put me like right before the Berkut battle? No.
I mean, there was.
Okay.
At the very least, if you explored enough, you would find a shrine that you could save at.
There was a shrine,
yeah.
but it was more closer to the end.
Yeah, it was more closer to Duma than it was to Berkut, so it was a little bit of a backtrack. Yeah, but
like that beginning part was just really frustrating for me, and
yeah, I can see
when I was going to Duma's castle with Celica's route, it was I didn't have any problems, but you know, I was ending up getting in battles. I was afraid of running low on supplies. Okay.
Surprise.
Surprise.
The fatigue.
Yeah.
Fatigue never really
The
affected me
fatigue
that much
wasn't a
because I
big
never
deal.
really used.
No, it wasn't a big deal at all.
I was afraid that it would be a pretty big deal, and then I found out that, you know, as long as you go to the map or you just go to a shrine and relieve all fatigue, like you don't have to worry about it. Like the fatigue and the penalty of the fatigue is only really a big deal on like your squishy units, because it only I think it halves or just a little more than halves HP. And it doesn't really offer a penalty to your other stats at all. So if you have like really high defense, you can still tank like half HP, and you know, you always have enough resources. And then there were these little fountains of limitless supply fatigue curing water that you could get to. So the fatigue never really felt like a problem, and it was there to like mitigate grinding. But on my second playthrough, I just low manned everything and got only the pre-promotes and the people that you were required to use, and I just got through the game completely fine.
But here's
the funny thing is that fatigue never stopped me from grinding, because the way I do it is if my unit's fatigue got low, I just exit the dungeon.
But the thing is, I was in Duma's temple, and I just got from a fight with Jeddah, and I was talking with Lectorn, and I was under the assumption, oh no, I'm in Duma's temple, the last dungeon of like Celica's route. I'm gonna like have a legit fight with Jeddah. I'm running low on fatigue, or like my fatigue is low.
After you kill that big ol', then like, I mean Morgul. Sorry, I'm still stuck in Gaiden. Like in Gaiden, they were called Biggles. A name I think they should have kept, but yeah, after you kill that big ol', you don't really need to fight Jeddah. But yeah, I can see why. Like it's
that's
hyped
another
up.
thing. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, that was it. I was just saying it was hyped up.
Yeah, it is hyped up because that fight was legitimately anticlimactic. Because I was like, oh no, he has high defense, he has high resistance, he's spawning these like stupid eyeball things. Okay, I got rid of these great terrors, now I can focus on Jeddah. Ho, we'll meet again next time, kiddos. Wow. Done.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that one. I thought you were talking about like at the very end of the tower, like at the very top. No. Oh,
yeah,
you were talking about the one with the Draco shield. When Jeddah has the Draco shield.
I'm so happy you didn't have to kill him.
Yeah. You don't even have to kill him in Duma's fight. That was amazing.
No, you don't. But I still did, though.
You could. Like, I know if you attacked him so many times, his null effect doesn't work.
Yeah, every 4th, 8th, 12th, and every increment of 4.
Every 4th, 8th, 12th, and whatever attacks against him or rounds of combat. That's and then the 4th one would always attack. So I tried to either do like a triangle attack and then Est would die, or I tried to make sure and use like one of the arts, or like the only way that I was able to do it on normal mode with I know, call me a scrub, whatever you want, but like the only way I was able to do it on normal mode is with Bowie and using Sagite.
Yeah, I could see that. Why would we call you a pleb? You're the most experienced out of all of us here.
Yeah, we have no right to criticize you.
Because I played on normal mode before I went on to hard mode because I wanted to
yeah, but
the game.
You yourself told me that was just so that you could compare it to Gaiden.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, hard mode.
Exactly.
I'm on like normal mode for Fates. I don't think I should criticize you.
Oh, don't worry, I haven't touched hard mode on Conquest.
No, yeah, but if the later missions or the later dungeons had like a more consistent supply of or access to Mila shrines, I would have been a lot more at ease. Even with Act 6, if they had like a hidden shrine, like legitimately hidden, every 2 or 3 like levels, I wouldn't have like hated that map as much as I do now. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
That's why I was.
Think that I wish that after you fight that your first fire dragon on the fifth basement floor, in the we're talking about like the Thebes labyrinth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that they should have at least put like a breaking point there, like had a shrine there, instead of like this ultimate challenge. You have to go through all 9 floors just to get to the very bottom final boss, which is still hella difficult, because he has all damage.
Which one has damage?
Grima.
Oh, okay.
Or the creation,
Ragnall?
as it was called, I think.
I'm still used to hearing the construct because that's what the original Japanese words or word was.
Construct?
Yeah, it was the construct instead of the creation.
Oh.
Well, we can still call him Discount Grima, right?
It was Grima, young Grima.
No, I actually, because you were saying, oh, don't worry. Yeah, Lectorn and I were talking. It's like, oh, don't worry, you'll know who the boss is. And it's like, okay, this guy is making the one creation. So I actually, like, on my second run when I got 1 crit by the red dragon. Okay, who's Fornius? Okay, he's not a combatant. Okay, What's his creation? Grima. Oh. Maybe I should go through this.
He also made the Risen.
And what I was like really overjoyed for was what was his name? Not Mikhail. Both of you guys had played Awakening.
Yeah.
So remember Inigo's map?
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
was.
so.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, the one with the guy who has like Mega Quake or Upheaval or whatever it was. In Gaiden, when you
Upheaval.
faced it for the first time, it was just random. It was just randomly happened, and you had no idea what was going on. Suddenly, all your units were at low HP, and then the witches warped in and killed you. And then Duma could somehow do it in the final map, and it was really annoying. But what I really liked that what Echoes did was they gave you a one-turn warning, like, oh, it's gonna happen next turn. So now I can just like try and heal everyone up, and try and go to provisions and just use all my healing and physics spells, just trying to get everyone topped off so they don't die next turn. And I thought it was nice of them to give you a warning when in Gaiden all that happened was just, oh, here's Mega Quake.
I thought there was not a consistent pattern, obviously, but I thought there was a pattern, like for the one where they first introduced Upheaval. It was every 2 or 4 turns. With Duma,
yeah,
it was every
so
5
often,
turns
yeah.
kind of idea. Like it had a time window that you could estimate it, and I think they did give you enough time, because I remember in the final boss, Duma's map, Duma would have his Upheaval. Okay, witches don't come at me for a while. Just get rid of all the moguls. That will like be of legitimate threat, and then just have Tatiana use her Fortify, and everybody's good. Okay, low health. Everybody's like where they should be. Nobody should die.
You know, like I said, how I maxed everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no one in Duma's map was a threat except for that one guy with Medusa and Duma himself.
Okay.
Oh god, that guy with
that guy.
I hated him. I had to throw my
guy.
Dread Fighters at him, which is, what you should do. And then I'm like, oh crap, I already used Tatiana to fortify. And then Duma just like the final map. Like when I played on normal, I only used like illusions like once or twice. But in the final map, like in Gaiden, you weren't allowed to use illusions in the final map. In Gaiden, at least
Really?
I don't think. Like it never happened. But in Echoes, like you were allowed to use illusions. I'm like, you're allowed to use them? Oh, now I know why. Because with the illusions, you can bait out Duma to do whatever the heck to attack the illusions for you, instead of just risking your own units getting killed. And that saved my ass multiple times. And like there were just so many things that they allowed to do better in Echoes that just made it such a more fluid experience, that it makes it such a much more enjoyable game than Gaiden was. And the fact that it's slow, that it's faster, and you can skip enemy phases too, so that's always nice. Like if you play the original Gaiden on an emulator and you don't use the speed up function, how are you going to keep your sanity?
Yeah.
I know. Did I tell you guys the story of why my Gaiden file got corrupted?
Why?
Because I had my copy of Echoes right here, and I was so urging to play it, and I was like halfway through chapter 4, and I'm like, okay, I can probably get this done in the next few hours if I like speed this up, speed up through the dialogue. So, and my emulator had this like really bad, limit FPS, take that off, and it's sped up now, instead of like trying to push it at to 100%, skipping frames and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it did that, and it got me to like 100 frames per second, so it wasn't even double speed. And I tried to change my emulator to, what was it? I think I tried to change it from JNS to something else. And when I changed it, it didn't work on the second emulator, so I'm like, shit, I'm just gonna use my first emulator then. So I go back to my first emulator, and it's like, your file of then Fire Emblem Gaiden.
The file didn't exist or something?
Yeah, something like that. Or the save file did not exist.
Yeah, that happens when you try to mess around with emulators. I tried to, and like I've messed around with Nightmare and GBA hacking a little bit, And if you try to edit things too much, it can corrupt the file, and then it ruins everything. And then I gotta restart the progress and rename the file, and then restart Nightmare, reinstall it. It's all this huge hassle. So unless you know what you're doing and know how to work around the files and switch them around without corrupting it, then like just don't do it. Just complete what you have. Don't try to mess anything up too bad.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you guys think? Did Awakening save the series, or did Echoes?
Marketing saved the series.
True.
Fan service saved the series.
Well, let's just say it all saved it.
We don't need to know that. Yeah, Fire Emblem saved the series.
You're kind of right.
Exactly, I am right, because that's the only way.
What did you guys... I actually really want to talk about this not in depth, but I'd like to mention it. What did you guys think of Duma's battle? Because I saw the battle before, and it looked pretty neat.
The final map?
Yeah, like Duma's like battle. What did you guys think of it?
I'll go first this time.
Okay.
I liked it. I will say that much.
Mm-hmm.
I did really like it. Like, the battle music was hype as hell, and so was the Duma theme. Like, I love that. My only one problem with the fight was that there was no pre-dialogue, like, right before the fight, and that kind of annoyed me a little bit, because it almost felt like Duma was rushed.
Well, in Gaiden, see, the thing with the Gaiden story and Echo story, it changed so much. Like, in Gaiden, just when you got to the battle, there was pre-dialogue between Alm and Celica, and it just had to wrap up, like, why Celica did what she did, and you know, Alm, I like you, but, you know, and Alm says, don't worry, Celica, and he literally says, I'll crush these bastards, which was, like, the best line
I
for
love
me.
that scene.
Alm
I am sad they took that
apparently.
out. Yeah, he's like, don't worry, Celica, we'll kill these bastards.
And then,
I'll kill these bastards.
And then you hear the theme, the battle theme in the NES format, which in Gaiden it was already a very good music, and in Echoes,
Did you like
I realized that it didn't switch over to the battle theme when you got into battle, I was like, I dropped my 3DS, I just dropped it, and I grabbed the nearest thing I could and just screamed. I don't know. I was just so
like
hyped.
Screamed in joy or
joy.
Wait, what was that? I didn't follow. What?
I loved it. Just the fact that you didn't have to, like, in Gaiden and in other Fire Emblem games, like the map theme would fade out and you'd go into the battle theme. But in this one, it just stayed continuously throughout, and it didn't not like the other battles where it would just change to the battle theme. It stayed throughout and just for the final map. And if other Fire Emblem games would take this format, I would love it all the more.
You know, on my second playthrough through Duma's map, I didn't speed up a single battle scene. Mm-hmm. Just because one, I thought the animations were great, and two, the music was just so beautiful, and I was so happy that it didn't.
Well, that was
that's
like
the only reason.
That was like the final battle too. Like, everybody's getting all pumped up, and it's like, what are you, like, going all Breaking Bad? What is a god? What is a king to a god? What is a god to a non-believer? And just like, oh yes, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, the final battle was just excellently handled. But the music, the music for the game overall, I don't think we talked about this, did we?
Oh no, we should. Like, music's gorgeous, like fantastic.
It is. It's probably my favorite soundtrack in the series so far.
Because I came in knowing what Duma's theme would sound like, and it was like, oh my god. Like, if the soundtrack's like, this is why I wanted to pre-order it. Also, note to self, fuck you, Canada, for not having enough pre-orders from where I live. Anyways, that's why I wanted the soundtrack, is because if Duma's theme is this good, I want it. And, you know, I think the two biggest points is, of course, Duma's theme and Berkut's final battle theme. Like, the map battle and the actual like attacking him music, I thought were like top notch.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it.
I need it.
I'm sorry, I haven't.
If you guys know that SpongeBob reference,
SpongeBob reference.
I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody.
Shout out to SpongeBob.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it.
Because the final map theme was just amazing. Like, everything was great. The recruitment theme was amped up to be like very deep and meaningful, and then like everything was great. Even the memory prisms like had their own little bits of music that matched everything so well. Just the music of this game, and what was it? The attack on Rigel Castle. That map alone, combined with the story, how all the placement was changed in hard mode. Like on normal mode, it's just 1-to-1 Gaiden, right? And you can just use Alm warp strats, double lion to kill Rudolph instantly. But on hard mode, I had to actually think a little bit more and use the things that I had at my disposal, and it's just they changed everything up.
I had Lucas and Clive like acting as a wall because the gate's two squares big,
right?
And and they had the archers, and also it's like, okay, I'll just use my knights and march up because I think Lucas had a Rider's Bane, so it's go up, okay, clear, everyone go in, and then like the horses came in from their side, and it was awesome. I was countering with my mages, and then Rudolph comes in, and it's like, yes. So Alm goes in, uses the new attack that he uses. Actually, no, I used Delphia's Ragnarok first to get...
that saved my ass on hard mode.
And then it was like, okay, this needs to be the strike. So I used like Alm's all-out attack. F***ing misses.
Milla's turn wheel.
Yeah, Milla's turn wheel. We got this again. Yeah, we did it.
What I did is I had two of my tankiest units, which at the time were, I think, like they were like Lucas and Clive, I think, of all people. So yeah, I had Lucas and Clive like plug up that part and like lure out Rudolph. And when Rudolph was right there in range, I had Alm go and double line him. So the first time I didn't get a crit on either one. So like I used Mill's turn wheel, turned it back, and I actually took out Rudolph like on the second turn.
Wow. Now the way I did it was I put what was it? I had Cliff as a general. I mean not general, Baron. I had Cliff and Forsyth as barons, and I had them blocked away. And the bow knights weren't shooting at anyone. No one was moving except for the gold knights. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, they have silver shields, they have silver lances, they're fully decked out. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I gave Matilda the Draco shield that I got from Desai, and I just warped her and had her and she had enough speed to, with the Draco shield, double the bow knights because they're terrible. And I just had Matilda distract them, and as soon as they got like a chip of HP in, they just started running all the way to the other side of the map just to heal. And the Arcanists were just sitting there like, no, you guys go on. We're going to stick around Rudolph the entire time. And just watching it was just hilarious. And then I tried to bait out Rudolph with Tatiana's Pegasus illusion summons or invoked.
Did you guys hear that also one of the Fire Emblem devs said that he's interested in featuring full voice acting again in the future?
They should.
Oh, excellent. Like the voice acting for Echoes is fantastic.
I know.
Was.
I hate to go back to Fates, but that's the one thing I hate about Fates is because...
One thing?
One of the things.
Thank you.
Well, no, it's because there are these characters that I adore, but it's always the side characters. And aside from a few like campaign like lines, they're not voice acted. Not like Awakening, where at least they had like some voice acting. So and that would have made the conversations a lot more meaningful to me, like having Setsuna like do a cute like moan or whatever, and it's like, yes, be my waifu already. And then Echoes comes in and is fully voice acting, and it's like, okay, you guys can't.
You already are my waifu.
Yeah,
You just can't do it any other way. Gotta have the voice acting. Now,
Exactly.
I don't know what you guys think about the voice acting, like, completely overall. I thought it was great, but
So did I.
I think I got it here. Caitlin Glass, if I'm pronouncing that right, voiced Matilda. Like,
she did. Oh yeah, really?
just perfect. Like the
Because-
final battle quote with her. I saw someone else talking about this. Like how it was like one of the best lines in the game. No doubt, there's so much emotion behind that one line. Just it amazes
what
me
line was
how far like they went with the voice acting and the cast, and like there were only like two people in the entire, out of all the casting, even the generic bosses, like there were only two people, Kamui and Dean, who sounded like Squidward sometimes.
What was the Matilda line?
Oh, the Matilda line was in the final battle where she where
Oh,
he
yeah,
brought her
yeah.
to the final battle and you select her. She says that, she's I'll tell you one thing, it certainly won't be you, or something like that.
yeah. I think we humans have the right to decide who we worship, and that certainly won't be you. And it's like, yes. I'm glad Caitlin Glass did her role, because seeing her like with a character I absolutely respect is fantastic.
Yeah, like
Yeah, okay.
voice acting of the year here.
Let's see. Okay, I found what Matilda says. I alone will decide who I choose to worship. But I can promise you one thing, it certainly won't be you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like the person that's just searching stuff up on the side, just confirming everything so that the comments don't eat us apart.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be that one person who tries to tear you apart for every single little thing. Like, oh, I heard that they breathed out of order for like 2 seconds, but the voice acting was fantastic. Patrick, Patrick Seeds? Wait, I can't pronounce
The
things
person who
right.
voiced Hector in Heroes.
Yeah, from Heroes. He voiced Zeke, and he did it really well. Like everyone sounded like they were on point, aside from Kamui and Dean, but just everyone felt great.
I actually thought Kamui's voice was pretty decent.
Yeah,
It didn't have that Oriental feel to it though. Like,
yeah, Bryce did okay with Kamui, but like at times it felt like he was just like had a stuffy cold.
Bryce Papenbrook? Yeah. But I didn't know it was Bryce Papenbrook, though.
I'm glad they got the voice actresses from the Pegasus sisters from Heroes into Echoes.
Oh yeah, that fantastic. Oh,
So Intelligent Systems, if you're listening, if we ever
Which
have
they're
a
not.
like a Blazing Blade remake, Wendy Lee as Lynn. End of story.
what?
Wendy Lee's the voice actress of Lynn in Heroes. So if they make a Blazing Blade remake.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Blazing Blade's the one with Elliewood and Lynn, right?
Yeah,
And Hector.
I know,
Yeah,
I know what it is.
okay, okay.
It's just
No,
he's asking confirmation.
I'm only asking because I get Blazing and Binding Blade mixed up half the time.
Yeah, I know you do.
yeah, just
Shut up.
blazing. It should be Blazing Sword, not Blazing Blade.
Well, there's the sword blade synonymous
I mean,
with
really,
each
they're
other.
the same word almost, so, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused
Although
with the titles.
Although it is weird, like, there should be concrete because, like, 6 in Japanese is Fuin no Tsurugi, while 7 is Reka no Ken.
Yeah, it's the English language. It's English is
It's the
just
English language that's messed up.
English is terrible sometimes,
I hate English so much. I'm so happy I'm bilingual.
I'm not.
What do you speak? Turkish or?
I'm Turkish. Where'd you get Turkish?
I thought you were from Cyprus or something.
Serbia.
Serbia.
That's not even close. The one thing, there are 2 places where people think constantly that I am from. That I am either from Siberia or Syria.
I'm glad to add a
So-
third.
I didn't think you were from either. I thought I don't really think about where people come from. I mean, unless there's like something that's really stand out, but like I just think that, you know, you are who you are, and I don't really care about, you know, where you come from, as long as you don't.
Yeah, I mean,
As long as you're not a dick.
I
all
know
the time.
Same.
I'm Serbian and you all suck because you're not.
What?
exactly. That's my sarcastic
Oh.
voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got lost for a second there. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
This is why I asked you guys to come on, is because I knew I was going to be a goddamn idiot.
I mean, I'm always an
don't
idiot. It's
worry.
just, you know,
Yeah,
you got
same.
people to share the idiocy.
Exactly.
So voice acting is
Sure,
great.
sure.
What else do you guys want to talk about? Because we still get...
Echoes.
Echoes is fantastic. Just overall, just a really good game.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm trying to think of. Oh, we did talk a little bit about how the animations were good, but just the visual presentation, the style of everything, the cutscenes, everything.
I loved the art style. It's Fire Emblem. It is Fire Emblem. That is the style I will always associate with Fire Emblem from now on.
Like you can't.
Other than maybe the GBA games.
Well, yeah, the GBA games are kind of iconic at this point, but like
Yeah.
what they did here was fantastic. Like, wait, was it Hidari that drew everything?
I think, yeah, it was Hidari.
And also the animations in general were good too. Like the Dread Fighter animations, the first time I saw them, I was just really amazed.
The main thing I cared about when I promoted them was, holy shit, look at those stats.
Yeah, the stats were great too. Especially like
They were amazing.
the Dread
Dread
Fighters
Fighter,
had
like,
resistance. It almost breaks the game.
+5 res, and then divide every all the damage by magic in 2. Like, are you kidding me?
It's the only way to deal with Nui Baba and her babas.
I hated Nui
No,
Baba.
yeah, I agree with you about the like models looking better than what they did in Awakening of Fates. Because Awakening, it felt too yellow, if that makes any sense, like beige. And then in Fates, it
I know what you're
felt
talking
very
about.
dark.
Yeah, the thing with Fates and Awakening, like Awakening's models, they look like polygons and blocky, and everything kind of just
Yeah.
blended together.
Although, to be fair, that was... like-
Yeah, Fire Emblem Fates was
Also-
Fire Emblem Feet, and now we have Fire Emblem, the best game, you know?
Yeah, I will be fair. Like, you know, Fates and Awakening both came out near the middle of the 3DS line, while Echoes is here during the end of it. So they definitely had a lot of time to, like, you know, start pushing the art style a bit more.
Well, the whole reason why they didn't have the feet at first was because they didn't know if the DS would
3DS
have
could handle it.
enough life or power in it.
Yeah, and the thing with Fire Emblem that's been around for a while with that is that near the end of every console's life cycle, they tend to get better with the system and improve everything, like the art style, the mechanics in-game, the just how everything looks. It looks much better. Like, if you compare...
like Thracia?
Yeah, like Thracia. If you compare Thracia's animations and the portraits to
genealogy
that
of
of FE3, like you're gonna see like this massive jump. And the same way with the GBA and how Radiant Dawn looks better than Path of Radiance, and
Well, to be fair, they
Anything
did
looks
come
better
out
than
on
Path of
consoles.
Radiance.
except for the
Actually,
portraits, the in-game portraits.
The
of Path of Radiance
the
are pretty good.
portraits for Path of Radiance look really good.
I'm
That's
talking about
probably
like
my
the
sec-
CG stuff.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
CGs
yeah,
were
that was
horrible.
bad. That was bad, and the voice acting in that was terrible. Like,
Except Ike.
did you get? Huh?
Except Ike. I mean,
Yeah, but did you guys hear, like, it's the very first cutscene, and I was playing Path of Radiance, I'm like, really? Is this how the rest of the game is gonna be? Where, like, Ike wakes up, and Miss is like, oh! And then pause for a little bit, you're awake!
bad
I'm like,
time.
is she... Yeah, about time! And it's like, are you happy to see Ike? Or are you sad to see Ike? Are you, like, do you have any emotions?
I mean, you can see her face. She was smiling, so you know you'd think.
No,
that
I'm
she's
talking
happy.
about the voice though. But like, no, yeah, the character was happy, but was the voice actor, she's like, yeah, I'm here just to get paid.
It certainly
Give
didn't
me my
feel that
money,
way.
I'll say my lines, and get this done with. Like, seriously.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
certainly
And then
turned
here
it
comes
around.
Echoes, and it's... Yeah.
I think everything was just presentation-wise, everything was top-notch in Echoes. I mean, at this point, there's like nothing else to say except Echoes is like the best Fire Emblem 3DS game, presentation-wise,
Just
story-wise.
play Echoes, bro.
I have a question actually. Like the music was absolutely baller, but what would you prefer in regards to Duma's theme? The pixelated version or the new remastered version?
I prefer
Like,
the
what do you
new
mean, for
remastered
the-
version. The pixelated
which?
version is nice
Duma's
in its own
theme.
right, but
Oh, I love the new one.
Okay, because the newer one or the older one is, again, it's pixelated, so it has this really distorted
Which makes sense for
vibe
Duma.
to it. Yeah,
Oh,
it makes sense for Duma.
It was
Actually,
meant to be like distorted and
disturbing.
just creepy as all hell. Just it was really meant to drive home a feeling of dread and uneasiness, and it still did
that's
in the
kinda-
remake. But it just sounded so much better that I just kept on nodding my head to the music.
I'm listening to it right now.
I'm actually I don't want to say disappointed because that's what they had in mind of what Duma would look like. But when I was seeing, the a compilation of all the Fire Emblem bosses, and I saw Duma, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this a dragon? It should be a dragon, but it doesn't look like a dragon.
It's a slime It's the slime monster before Garen.
Yeah, it legitimately.
No. Look, you guys are both wrong on that. It's actually it's actually a baby dragon covered in snot.
It had a temper tantrum. No, but
It's a newborn dragon.
it did look distorted. It didn't look like, it just, this should be a dragon, but it's not. And in the newer one, it's very clear that this was a dragon, although the design is still baller. Like when Duma opens its eye and just shoots its Oculus beam or tentacles comes at you, it's like, yeah, this is creepy, but I don't think it had the same
It didn't
effect.
have the same effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer in design-wise, I prefer the slime monster, to the menacing dragon. But music, Echoes all the way, man.
Yeah.
I just had something to say. Damn, I forgot.
You have
Oh, well.
one job, Lectorn.
I know. My one job is to remember stuff and to talk.
What about Renea? Like
Yeah. She's great.
I
I wish she was a playable character.
like Berkut's fiance, Renea.
Yeah, fiance.
I think her memory prism wrapped everything up nicely, because during the campaign, it's like she's obviously supposed to be a supportive character to Berkut, like his
Yeah,
last
supportive, but not really.
his last
for
grip
the
to
whole war.
sanity, and then when she says, I don't care if you're an emperor, that's when he loses it. Like, she's more of a symbolic person, although her battle model is scary. I'm going to be honest, that creeped me out.
I didn't think about that. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you here, and this may seem like I'm kind of cruel, but the first time I saw Renea like become like that, this whole
Fire thing.
Yeah, the only thing I could think about was not how terrifying this was, or how sad it was that he sacrificed his love just to get power. I didn't think about that. The only thing I thought about was, okay, what jokes can I make out of this? Because we now have a third
Another
person
fire
for the
person.
barbecue brigade. So
Yeah.
first we have Sigurd, who's a chicken wing. We have Flora, who's basically a firework. And now we have Discount Human Torch.
Discount. Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Oh man, I can't look at that battle the same way now, because well, no, because you'd have her like appear from the fire, and it's like the face is uncanny, so she's staring at you, and her portrait's staring at you, and it's creepy. And now, oh yeah, Discord Human Torch. Okay.
Flame on.
When let's see, I get in a direct message with Mang sometimes, and whenever his Let's Play catches up to that, I'm gonna make sure to comment that, or just straight up DM him. I'm like, dude, Renee is just discount Human Torch.
So we're done talking about Renee, right?
You mean discount Human Torch?
Discount Human Torch. Do you guys want to like go in depth, talk about the differences between Gaiden and Echoes and how Echoes actually benefited from the remake?
Echoes benefits greatly from it. It makes the franchise feel new and fresh again, and I think that's what they were going for.
Would you like to see any of these things go into the Fire Emblem Switch game?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Like
at least the art style. Let the art style carry over. The art style, the presentation. Like, let 8.4 translate every single Fire Emblem game from here on out, because they did such a fantastic job with it.
Have you actually like researched what kind of translations they did? Because I'd like to talk about that later.
I can actually do that.
Well,
right now.
sadly, I didn't research that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, from what I've seen, I absolutely adore Echoes.
All right,
story,
some other stuff.
like
some other stuff that they've translated or localized are Nier Automata, Azure Striker Gunvolt 2, Shovel Knight, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which is pretty awesome, and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh, they also did Awakening.
yeah, I know they did Awakening. That's why everybody was so
yeah,
happy because there were no pickles memes.
They also did Shadow Dragon too.
Oh,
Did they do
well,
Shadow Dragon?
Yeah, I mean,
they
I
did.
think they did.
Let's see. Okay, so what they're mostly known for doing. Let's see. Now they're known for doing a bunch of the Fire Emblem games, but they're also known for doing stuff like let's see, the Soul Calibur series, Fossil Fighters, Tales.
Yeah, I know they did some. I know they did some of those. Yeah.
Oh, they do Monster Hunter now, so they're all pretty good games.
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't they don't have to translate every single one of them, but like, I mean, I'm just saying that. Yeah, I'm just saying that I prefer like what they did, because they did a fantastic job with it.
They really did.
Everyone gets on, and the story was well written. We already talked about this.
there were no pickles memes. 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, the amount of memes that were in Fates were just.
Well, that's the thing is, I talked to Lectorn about this, but I legitimately thought, like, I don't understand what the problem was with the pickles. Is because
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I thought they were, like, translating it from, like, a daikon or into a pickle or whatever, and it's like, why are people getting angry? I actually did research. Apparently, Hajime, not Haji, what's his name, face?
Hisame.
Hisami.
Hisami. That's the most American you can make that sound. I'm not even kidding. Like, you might. Are you from Canada?
Yeah.
It's still the most American thing I've ever heard. I don't even care. I don't care that you're from Canada. It's still a super American.
America.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're going to save
No,
my
but
day, yeah, America.
he
Okay, I'm done.
was apparently a very uninteresting and brooding character. So what I researched was Treehouse tried to meme him up basically to make him a little bit more interesting or whatever. And
That's dumb.
I mean, it's okay that they try to make him more interesting, but don't try to make him memes. Just try to find some sort of humor or some sort of, meaningful thing out of their character and expand on it a little.
so obviously Echoes benefits from being remade in a more modernized age. What kind of games predating the Radiant series would you like to see be remade?
Fire Emblem 5.
Thracia?
Yes, Thracia 7.
Now, why would it benefit from a remake?
Because the mechanics, while they did help to modernize the Fire Emblem formula, are very, 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 very outdated, and in some cases, so unbalanced that it would make you rip your hair out, at least on a first-time playthrough.
Whip your hair back and forth?
He's talking about fatigue.
Not just fatigue.
I know, but that's the
Staff
one thing that
776.
everyone. Oh,
Staff
I
Emblem.
haven't played Thracia 776 yet, but that is the
I'm
one
almost
thing
complete
that
with
I'm
it.
not looking forward to.
I'm almost done with it. I think I'm on like, well, not almost done. I'm on like chapter 21, and like I was stuck on chapter 16 forever because the cavaliers that come at you have sleep swords, and like the thing with status effects is they last forever in Thracia 776, and they try to give you multiple ways of dealing with them, and the only way to deal with it is to put status effects on the people who have status effects, but it uses up your very limited resources, and and just like Thracia is just so unbalanced, and a lot of the stuff that they have, like, it needs to be updated. The RNG is BS because it goes from 1 to 99, not 0 to 100, and then they tried to make it more random. Instead of just, being straight what it is, it's more random RNG, so it's even more frustrating. And then the weapon triangle is only 5 hit and avoid, and so it's like it's not even there. And don't even get me started on Chapter 8X's boss, because the thrones give 10 defense. And
yeah, that sounds crazy.
Right.
But do you think if it benefited from like a more modern remake, it would? Because what I'm hearing is Thracia set up a lot of staples that the current modern Fire Emblem uses.
Yeah, it would benefit from it because it wouldn't really change much with how the staples of the series like go together, like how it flows. But it would just be more updated and made less RNG and less BS. Of course, they'd probably reserve some things for like harder difficulties, but just like Thracia 776 on its own is difficult, and there's a lot of things about it that just, if you don't know what you're doing on a first time playthrough, sometimes you can just like give up. It just forces you to give up sometimes, and just I don't know what I'm saying at this point. It's just, it would benefit mostly from it because modernizing it and making it more accessible and more easier to deal with and pick up and understand, and would benefit from it mostly. Like, nothing is explained to you in Thracia 776.
So that's actually a complaint a lot of people had with Echoes, was that nothing was explained to you. But those people haven't played Thracia, have they?
What?
Wait.
Like, lots of people were complaining that almost nothing was explained in Echoes. When I personally didn't have a problem with it, but I'm just thinking now, wow, those people haven't played Thracia, have they?
What wasn't explained in Echoes?
Exactly.
Like, what wasn't explained? Like, they explained, they told you how to kill, like, feed kills to other units. Like, that hasn't really been exemplified before. Like, they did a good job of
IGN awakening tips here. Do you know what they said, Fenichi?
What?
Have your weaker units try to chip off health, and then have Frederick come in and kill them.
No.
IGN, best Fire Emblem reviewer right there.
Same people that said an engaging and emotional story for Fates.
And they gave Echoes a 7.8 out of 10.
No, yeah, they gave Echoes a 7.8 when they gave Fates a 9.5.
I mean, we could have an entire podcast on like Fates itself, but I don't understand where people are coming from with the. I don't understand where people are coming from with nothing being explained in Echoes, because from
Echoes explained everything that it needed to. Like, if you
exactly from a person who has very little knowledge, obviously, of the other games, everything to me in Echoes was explained because it was a single story, a self-contained story that, if it had references, they weren't glaring, aside from the ones in Awakening.
Like, they had the military at the end, so like.
Yeah, well, yeah, they had the military. They had the Pegasus sisters from
Arcanea,
Shadow
because
Dragon.
that's how it was. Like, Est got kidnapped again.
And
again, pretty much.
They had Zeke, but again, he was a very self-contained story.
You mean
Camus
not Camus?
Equals Zeke equals Sirius equals Zeke equals Sirius equals Camus, because he's in 6 games.
So I don't understand where they're coming from.
Maybe they were talking about, like, they didn't explain things like character tropes, because like in the Zeke got his memory, like Zeke didn't have that much of a memory left, or at all. Like, he had amnesia, And it's a character trope. People will just complain like, "Oh, well, he has amnesia, common character trope." And then Tatiana just goes, "Oh, don't worry. It's like everyone's losing their memory in these times." And I really like how they just had to squeeze that in there, which is why Tatiana's the best.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I looked at Zeke's previous pairing. What's her name?
Camus and Nina.
Yeah. Oh boy, she's a hottie. I would tap that so hard.
What, Nina?
Tatiana. I think Tatiana is better looking.
I don't know, guys. Yeah, Nia.
Listen, Nina got with Hardin, and Hardin just completely blew everything up because he got
kind
mad.
of became evil.
Oh, I
Hardin.
totally got a Hardin for her. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, that's the obvious joke that you're gonna make, but I mean, Hardin was just, I've played Shadow Dragon a ton of times, and I still barely ever use the guy.
Isn't she recruitable in the last chapter of Fire Emblem 12?
Yes, she is, and she's completely useless.
Because it's the last chapter, like one turn before you kill Medius.
Yeah, and Sirius has to recruit her, and he says, "Oh, don't," and she's like, "Wait, you're Camus, aren't you? You have me mistaken for someone else. I have to go to another continent. I have someone waiting for me." And of
Wait,
course,
does he actually say that?
Yeah, he does. He says that he has someone else waiting for him. Like he goes, to help out in Fire Emblem 3 and 12, and then he goes back to Valentia because, Tatiana and Zeke are still deeply in love, and I think that's really great. Like that,
He
even
didn't drop
like
Tatiana after he got his memories back.
Oh yeah, they explain at the end of Echoes, where it's like, he had to deal with that by himself, but he still remained loyal.
Yeah, well, I played 12 before I played Gaiden, so it made a lot. So like,
yeah, it makes a lot
more sense. It
more
didn't stick
sense.
out as much. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now. So I might go back and replay FE12 or 12.
Like not Camus, Zeke, Sirius, whatever you want to call him. He's probably one of my favorite minor characters in the franchise.
Did you know
just
that
because
Xander
of
is
how...
actually just Camus? That he bonked his head again and became the Prince of Door somehow?
No, I think you have it
Again
confused.
Kidnapped.
No,
that piece of crap.
I know
of
what
a
I'm
character
talking about.
Is nothing like Camus. Camus.
Well, okay, his supports. Xander's supports are good.
Yeah, they
Like, have you seen,
are. But in
have
the
you
story,
seen Gas video on it?
oh yeah, I saw both of them. Like, excellently done. And
Exactly.
like the support Xander is pretty good, and he has his virtues and everything. But like story Xander, just come on, man, come on.
It's terrible.
Like story Camus had better motivation. Come on, man.
Now, Tullus, you'd like to see Thracia 776 remade. What about you, Lectorn? Why would you want to see...
Are you even kidding me? Of course it's Fire Emblem 4.
Yes, but why? Tell the audience why, because you told me, on Twitter, why. Jesus, you told me.
Yeah, I told you, that's for sure. I was there for like an hour just discussing it. But yeah, obviously, I don't remember what I said, what was that, a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to remember everything that I said there, so I'm just going to be, saying what I think now. Is that...
Because they had, they had an ancestor system or whatever. Like, you could marry off units and then they'd have kids.
It was the original. It was the original generational system before Awakening.
And it's still really good.
This time they actually... Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be right back.
That's fine.
I need to do something. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I'll just discuss this real quick, though.
Yeah, it's okay. Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so my main reasoning was, I know Tullus and I were actually talking about this a while back. Not as far back as me and you, but this was a couple weeks ago. I'll get into that a little later. I love the story in 4 so much. It was probably one of the best developed and not most convoluted, but most complex stories I've seen in a video game in a long time. Probably since Trails of Cold Steel. And I love Trails of Cold Steel so much, and so it's quite a bit of a compliment to say Fire Emblem 4 is a close second when it comes to stories. I mean, I'm obviously not going to spoil 4 because you haven't played it yet. But something happens at the end of Chapter 5 that's just insane, and I don't know, do you already know?
No, I don't.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna explain it.
But do you think it could benefit from like a mechanical update or something?
Yes. I was actually gonna get into that after this point. Fire Emblem 4 is probably the most unbalanced game of the entire series. It's called Mounted Emblem for a reason, and that's because the maps are so freaking huge that only your mounted units can get anywhere in time. So I think that maybe
are there like timed objectives?
No, not timed objectives, but if you want to finish everything fast, because it's almost like a guiding problem, where everything is so slow sometimes.
Okay.
So, sometimes you just want to finish everything faster. Personally, I don't care about turn count, so it didn't affect me too much. But it was still really annoying when my foot units were lagging behind a lot. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. I had business I had to take care of.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just explaining how unbalanced 4 is and why I want it to be segmented into smaller chapters,
Oh yeah,
so
that
maybe
kind of needs
of
to
something
happen.
sort of like Gaiden, maybe, but have all 12 chapters, and maybe have prologue part 1 and have that taking back Jungmi, prologue part 2 have that trying to get to Alvis, and then prologue part 3 finally taking back Aideen.
Right now,
or not taking back Aideen, but taking back whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's really good. The thing about FE4 is that all the maps were really long and big, but I think that the thing about FE4's big maps that was really one of the better draws and one of the better things for me was how everything felt like you were actually
it was
in
a large
the world.
Scale war.
Well, not
it
only
felt
that,
like a large scale war.
Yeah,
I
everything
know that it was chapters 2 and 3 that just stuck out so much because I have a 2-monitor setup, and on my main monitor, I was playing Fire Emblem 4. And on my second monitor, I had set up the map of Jugdrill. And I was, pointing out, I'm like, wait a second. This part of the map, that's on this map of Jugdrill. And it just hit me out of nowhere that I'm actually playing on this giant map of Jugdrill, and that this is actually spanning half a continent. Or half a country.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like you're actually playing on this continent. It's not like a huge, minimized area that you're just battling on for a while. You're battling this huge global scale war, and it's just everything that you touch in the world is actually some point on the map, and you can really see where you are. And I think that was one of the better draws of the big maps and how everything felt connected, but at the same time, the gameplay suffered because everything was just so big and large.
Mounted Emblem.
Yeah, Horse Emblem.
Do you have the armies to make up for the big maps? Because when you're talking about...
I do like that.
Yeah, because generally Fire Emblem games have...
a bunch of scattered units.
Yeah, 10 units at most. Does Genealogy of the Holy War, Fire Emblem 4, give you a larger army to use?
Yeah, it gives you a generally large army, but the thing that's different about sorry, Lectorn, but the thing that's different about it is that there's no deployment limit. You can deploy whoever you need and whoever you want. There's no limit to who you can deploy.
Let's see. In the first chapter, you'll probably have right off from deployment. You're probably gonna have 3 units because Arden is shit.
Unless you want to actively use him like I do.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. I actually used him for the first 2 chapters, but then once I started getting more and more horse units, he just sort of fell off.
Yeah, unless you don't care about turn count. So.
I mean, I don't care about turn count, but it's just that even I have my own patience limits.
Yeah, FE4. Excuse me, FE4 just really tests your patience.
It does. That's why I technically haven't finished chapter 12 yet. I'm actually right at the last part where I have to fight the Dead Lords.
Excuse me?
The Dead Lords.
Did you make did you pair Iroh with Claude and have monster Ulster?
No. I paired Iroh with Lex, and now he's like a sword master tank, hero tank, whatever he is.
Ah, I see.
Why?
Because I had an amazing light brand that killed everything.
Okay, because I thought you were gonna say some. The way you said that, it was almost like discontent. You're like, I see.
No, it's just you did something different.
Disappointed with something. Yeah.
No, I did like one of the worst pairings you could do, and I still made it work. Like that's how flexible
Nice.
FE4 is. Like you can make anything work if you want.
Except for Sylvia.
Yeah,
children don't work.
Sylvia is crap. Like her character is nice. Like, I mean, and anyone
And the dancer class is overpowered, but in 4 at least.
for a while it's
especially-
overpowered. But the problem with the dancers is they don't have the move to back it up. So you're mostly just going to be charging ahead with everyone else. At least that's how I play.
What I did is that I gave Sylvia a leg ring.
I get
Think
that
about
stuff
that
on
for a
Sigurd.
If you have a ring you don't know what to do with, put it on Sigurd.
Yeah, if you have something that you don't know what to do with it, give it to Sigurd. He'll make good work of it.
Yeah, but like I was saying though, like I feel like there would be plus sides and downsides to having FE4 remade because one, the gameplay would be so weird. Like I have no idea how they would adapt it. One, it would be so much nicer to have it in fragmented maps because some genealogy maps are just so intimidating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like they are so big, you don't know what to do.
Yes.
Like Chapter
Like, there
9,
were a
having
few-
to recruit Hannibal was like the worst.
I know. I was sitting there for 20 rounds at least.
The only thing
Just
that's
trying to
worse
recruit him.
than recruiting Hannibal is trying to recruit Xavier in Fire Emblem 5. I just said screw it, kill Xavier.
Yeah, but what I ended up doing was that, like, I'm not talking about Chapter 9. I'm just talking about like how daunting the maps are. I probably took a break, like couple weeks or maybe a week break from FE4 when I hit Chapter 3.
Oh my god.
And
man.
that because do you remember Chapter 3?
Yeah, I really like Chapter 3. It's my favorite.
Yeah,
in the
Eldigan
game,
the
actually.
Lionheart. But I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
why. Probably because like I saw units from the top left, from the top right, and I saw this huge part in the middle that was like blocked off, and I just got really scared.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can be intimidating, and a lot of times it doesn't really explain that the only way to actually get to those things that seem really daunting are to actually beat the objectives in front of you. Like in Chapter 1, I felt like, okay, how am I going... Like, I know that there's a castle that I have to seize all the way over here across this narrow forest, but there's no way to get there. I can't even go around. How am I supposed to do that? And then I got to like turn 100, and I'm like, you know what? I need to beat this map. I'm just gonna seize. And then a one square path opens up in the forest, and I'm like, so all I had to do was seize, and I could continue.
I know. Okay, but another thing was that finally, or not finally, but I wonder what they would do with the story. Like, Tullus, me and you had this conversation earlier.
Yeah,
because if you don't know, Fenichi...
Okay, you know what? Just spoil it. This is a
this
spoiler
isn't any
podcast.
spoilers.
It's fine.
These
Incest
aren't
Emblem.
any spoilers. Incest Emblem, yes.
Oh, I'm okay with that because
There's incest and child hunts. How are they going to incorporate that?
wait,
And
child
don't
what?
forget the dark
Child
evil
hunts,
cults.
as in they're straight up hunting children
Oh, okay.
for their dark god.
And the dark god is the only thing the children know. So you got like little children scribbling stuff on the walls that the dark god will save us all.
The dark god will rise again, Loptir, our god, stuff like that.
Well,
And
I mean,
it's like
if
really
you look,
disturbing and how they do that.
if you look really deep into it, Fates is bigly one big incest story. So
It is. But
Like,
it's not straight up stated like in 4.
It's
I'm not going to
implied,
spoil anything.
but you really have to work at it to get the full story. And that's another thing. Like a big major part of the story is actually hidden through like a lot of villages that you have to save. So like they'd have to find some way to make the story more accessible to people who aren't as well versed in the game to be able to get every little tidbit of information.
do you think
Okay,
they could
and
do
actually-
memory prisms like what they did in Echoes?
I mean, they could try and do
think they
something
could.
like that. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But you said that incest was implied, right?
For a lot of it, it's implied, but
For a
like
lot of
some
it,
of
there
it
was
isn't.
one parent.
Like,
there
for-
was
for
one
most
parent
of-
that's just straight up, just boom. That's incest.
Yeah, like I mean, from the main story, you can tell that like Arvis and
No. That's spoilers. Fenichi hasn't played it.
Was it important though? Like, was it?
Yes, it
Yeah, it's very
contributes to the
important.
Yeah.
Sets up
Because
the antagonist for the next gen.
It's because in Echoes and Gaiden, it's straight up said that what's his face, Leon's gay. They don't hide it, but it's not important to the overarching story, so it's just insinuated through or hinted at
but
in
the
support
incest is
conversations.
extremely important to the story.
Okay.
So if they try
As in,
to
like, that's the
hide
main
it,
character and the antagonist to the second gen. Like, I'm not saying how they're related or anything, but it has something to do slightly with incest.
Okay.
like, so if they try to take out the incest in some way, or try to imply it, or just try to change that in any way, it could cause problems with the story and make it even more alienating than it already is.
I actually have kind of a funny story for this. So I was in Spanish class, and we were doing our unit on, like, family members, and we had to make a family tree, and one option was a fictional family tree. So I got the brilliant idea to make a family tree from Fire Emblem 4.
Oh man.
I don't have the picture of it right now, but I remember the diagram, and I can, like, probably draw it out before Fenichi edits this.
You can do the
Or actually,
add
no,
in
I
Echoes
probably
now.
shouldn't.
You can add in Echoes because they know where Robin comes in now, and you can do the whole Regalian bloodline now.
Don't
Where does
even
Robin
get
come in?
started.
I didn't get that.
Robin was breeded by the Grim Leal, which are worshippers of Grima, and he was, like, breeded to become the perfect vessel for their dark god. And it's still not explained, even in Fornius' lab, like, why do they need a vessel? Because Grima already has a body and stuff.
The only thing
Like,
I know
don't
about
know.
the only thing I figured out about the lab is that in the labyrinth it was really creepy, like literally the scariest thing I've ever felt in Fire Emblem, aside from trying to fight that last wave of enemies in FE4.
In what?
FE4, like we were talking about FE4, like the last wave of enemies.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually on that part right now.
Yeah, it's hell. Like the only thing scarier is the Thebes labyrinth, like the music that's recycled from the Fear Shrine.
Unsettling.
Yeah, the music, all the lore that's tied in. You realize that, hey, these are the Risen, but they used to be like simple villager kids. Like, just how everything is sacrificed, and then there's this lore about how Furnius is getting killed by his own creation. It's like, oh my god, what the hell am I up against? And the music, and you just don't know what you're up against. And then the enemies come at you, and they're strong as hell. And you're just, I don't know, it just made me feel so scared of the game. And I've never really felt that in a Fire Emblem game before. And I thought that was really
Was it anticlimactic, the fact that you had to go up against one of the blandest characters in Fire Emblem history?
Not really. Grima was actually pretty tough this time around.
Yeah, because Grima, like, I always thought he was sort of a cool design, Grima had a cool design.
Yeah, he had a really nice design.
Dumb plot. But what I don't understand is, first, one, why does he grow to that size in Awakening? Two, when does he gain sentience? And three, why does he have a voice? Oh yeah, and four, why does he need? I can, like, keep pointing out flaws with Grima. Now, I said, okay, what did I start off with? 2 points, and I'm, like, at 5 now. What was it? 4. He doesn't need the Fire Emblem to summon himself, even though that was the entire plot of the game.
So Chrome was just being an idiot for no reason.
No, Valadar was being an idiot for no reason. And then he went and got himself killed again.
God damn it, Valadar.
Okay, half the characters in Awakening are dumb.
Not
especially Cordelia. She's a complete idiot.
Airhead.
Oh,
actually, she's really weak, and I hate her. So
which
is funny because she's like supposed to be the perfect unit and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. She's freaking stupid. There's no reason that she can't get with Crom. Aside from like
they don't even have a
but like
conversation. That makes me sad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just have so much hatred for her. But that's just me. Let's continue. What was that thing about FE4? And are we done with that now?
No. Actually,
I have like a couple things.
I actually have a question because, in Awakening, they had a child system. Like, you could pair off units, and they would have a respective child from their mother. And
from their mother most of the time. I was gonna say from their father, but then I realized
no, the father. I'll get to that. And it was worked up into the story. They would come in from the future based off the pairings, and they would help fight alongside to prevent a future that was dark and grim. And it worked out well, in my opinion. It didn't work well in Fates, where it was basically
there was no reason for it.
It was basically child abandonment. Leave your kid in a dimension for God knows how long. Wait for them to grow up. It just didn't seem very characteristic of their parents, and it didn't work.
You know what I thought of?
So how would you think they could implement the generation system they have in genealogy at the Holy War in a more modern setting?
Do the exact same thing because genealogy did it right.
Exactly, genealogy did it perfectly. You wouldn't know because you didn't get there yet. But believe me, you'll know.
Well, see, the thing is, in Chapter 5, the reason why they make all these barbecue jokes about Sigurd is because
Well, first off, Fenichi, are you okay with the spoilers?
Yeah, this is a spoiler
like everyone
podcast,
already knows it by this point, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, indulge me in these.
Okay,
jokes.
So when Sigurd becomes the powerful chicken wing, he and his entire army at the end of Chapter 5 are betrayed by Arvis. They think they're going there to to the castle to be victorious, like they've beaten all this corruption, and Sigurd's father has been framed like the murderer of this prince that's the Prince of Isaac that's all the way out there. It's
the Prince of Granville.
Oh, Granville, right? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm mixing things up, but
Prince Curse is of Vandal.
Yeah, I don't want to go through the entire plot of FE4 because it's all convoluted and stuff. But
it is
basically.
But it's great, though.
Sigurd was still framed along with his father, and Arvis decides to execute all Sigurd and his entire army on the spot. So unless you paired people up in the first generation, they're all killed off by a bunch of fire mages and stuff. So they're all killed off. Your entire first generation army dies, aside from a few people that are confirmed to live for a little while.
Spoilers.
But yeah, basically the first generation dies, and then it's just the children who are in the second generation, just trying to right the wrongs, and just trying to make amends and do everything better, and just set everything right, really.
Okay.
So
it's just more like a grand scale.
It is, and that's why I love it, because you're fighting across the entire continent, and you see the continent in the maps. And then this also spans, there's a point where Sigurd gets married with his wife, which I'm not going to name right now because that'd be too much, and I'll probably get sidetracked. And, that entire period takes 2 years before the next chapter takes place. And, in that time, they, fell in love, got married, and then had a child together.
Okay.
So, it's sort of a grand scale that also takes place not just in the chapter like a lot of other Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, there's a lot of big time jumps.
That's honestly, it fits really well in that kind of setting.
So there's no need to shoehorn children in or anything. They're going to fulfill an actual purpose.
All right.
And we were talking, me and Tullus were talking a couple weeks ago about how are they gonna do stuff like incest and child hunts. But I never got around to saying it actually to Tullus. But if you think about it, I was also listening into podcast, I guess. And,
even though you should be listening to ours because it's the best one.
We're talking about ours right now.
Oh no.
Yeah, but so what did he say? He's like, when you think about it, Fire Emblem 8's got some deep shit and that deep dark shit, and that's a quote from him pretty much. And
yeah,
I was thinking about it more. I'm was dark. Fire Emblem 8 was dark.
Fire Emblem 8 is the
Sacred Stones.
Sacred Stones. Okay.
That is dark. Honestly, when you start reading about it, I'm is Fire Emblem 4 really worse than this? What do you think, Tullus?
I think Fire Emblem 4, they could do it. If they did that much with Sacred Stones with as much implications as it had, they could make Fire Emblem 4 work. They really could. The thing is, they just have to take the source material and just they have to know what they're doing before they even begin on it. Because if they try to change anything, that changes everything else. Like, if they try to change anything...
Because because it's sort of a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this leads to this, leads to that, leads to that, leads to that, leads to that, leads to the end point.
So you really need to be careful with how you modify and change the story so that it's not... Like, you want to keep these themes in there in a specific way because, you know, they're so integral to the plot, and without them, the story wouldn't function. But, like, you still need to keep your reputation as, like, this near kid-friendly company, right? So, like...
But at the same time,
I think Fire Emblem established itself into the teen
adults
ratings.
Sort of genre.
Yeah, teen ratings, adults, but I don't think it will go as far as into the mature rating. So
like,
I think
that's the thing that people are afraid of. Like, Fire Emblem 4 Remake would get it into the mature rating.
But Lectorn was saying that a lot of the incest and child hunting was hinted at in like side stories or side conversations.
No, actually, Tullus implied that. I'm the one that thought it was straight out blatant.
Unless they actually show it, I don't think they'd highly consider it.
Yeah, I don't think they'd show the actual stuff going on, but like they
but then
show
again,
stuff
they
being
had
talked about.
They had Berkut burn his wife, and she was naked for a good segment of the game.
That is true.
She was?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she didn't have any clothes on, but it was covered by the flames, so it was fine.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or fine in air quotes.
Still scary.
Yeah, but what I was thinking about, like, I'm gonna like spoil a little bit of Sacred Stones right now. Have you played Sacred Stones?
No. All I know is Erica's best girl. Cause
except that you're wrong.
But Erica's
you haven't even played the game.
Shut up.
Yeah,
worry,
but these aren't really big story spoilers. But there's one section where Walter, I'm just rehashing what Gast already said.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one section where Walter, one of the villains, tells Erica that he'd want to chain her up like a bird.
Okay.
And keep her to himself. And there's actually...
Exactly.
I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but I found someone like actually enjoying this kind of stuff. Like, Erica's got like a spear in her shoulder or something. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And
there's another one.
Walter's like really sadistic about it, so it's like...
Yeah. There's another section where there's a guy that betrays you in, like, chapter 4 or something like that. So it's still early on. But he comes back in, like, what was it, chapter 18 or something like that?
Chapter 16.
Wasn't it? 16? Yeah. I know it was around there. Yeah, he comes back and he has his wife. And you learn that the reason he betrayed you was so that he can make a deal with the main villain to get back his wife. But his wife's already dead. So all that's there is a rotting corpse that's been reanimated to the point where it can only say "darling" over and over again.
Do they show this? Like,
they don't show it, but they show the characters' reactions and when they walk in and stuff.
Oh, so it's like the portraits or the faces move like they do in Blazing Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just walk in there, and then off screen there's like text saying "darling, darling, darling" over and over again, and they don't really need to explain it. You know what's going on, and it's like some really dark stuff.
So like right there, it's implied like
if they did that in very much in the similar presentation they did with Berkut's battle, that'd be pretty f***ed up.
It would.
I can see where they're coming from now.
Like,
I mean, they could make it work.
There
it's
was
just a matter of they
necrophilia in
need
that
to,
scene, you know?
need to really
like, think about that, though. It was implied necrophilia.
Yeah.
And you're saying that stuff like child hunts and incest would be too far?
Nah. It's not
exactly. Now, like, when you think about it a bit more, it kind of makes sense, you know?
Oh, yeah. It makes more sense that when you think about, like, all these other stuff that the series has done.
Like... They don't have to make it as blatant as FE4 was, but sort of scale it back a little bit, but keep the same themes in there so that, so that it can still get the teen rating.
I want a Fire Emblem game where it's dark, it's gritty, it's mature. I'm ready for it. And I think
it's like Star Wars. I'm ready for that M-rated Star Wars. I'm an adult now. I can take it.
And then you see your waifu get impaled with a lance, and then she realizes, oh, I had an affair with this other guy, but I'm already dying in front of you, so... And then you just cry your eyes out.
I probably will cry because I have cried in several Fire Emblem.
What are you hinting at? Tell us, what are you hinting at?
I'm not hinting at anything. That was just like
He just-
hypothetical stuff, just off the top of my
Okay,
head.
I
Yeah.
thought you were hinting at something. I'm like, wait, what? Where does that happen? Yeah, well, anyways, I'm done. So, do you guys think that it's time to wrap this up, or no?
Actually, I don't really have a right to say anything about me wanting remakes, considering I've only played Blazing Sword, but I kind of want a Sacred Stones remake. Just saying.
I mean, if there's one thing that they can do with Sacred Stones and remake it is, like, Sacred Stones is pretty nice as it is, but I think they should try and establish more, like, Erica and Ephraim's character roles and how
I heard they were really
realism it is,
bland.
because Erica is really naive, but unless you can't really understand her naivete unless you really look into her eyes, like how Celica was portrayed in Echoes.
You know, like, I look into her eyes, and all I see is a bunch of pixels.
God damn it.
Yeah, pixelated.
Do you guys have
That's
anything?
actually... I
Sorry,
was
go
going to
on.
say really quick about Sacred Stones. That was one thing that I didn't like about Sacred Stones that for some reason just didn't sit right for me. Like, for some reason it was fine for me in Fire Emblem 7, but it wasn't fine for me in Sacred Stones, where everything was supposed to be more emotional than 7, but still the limitations just had these static faces that would never change expression.
But
You
they
know?
blink.
Like,
They blink, damn it.
like, I mean, you know, you can't really show emotion with Erica's face looking like she's just staring off in the distance. You can't have that portray accurately the emotion of, you know, oh, I am.
Like they did it for
Eliwood
Eliwood and
because
Hector.
my father died. I don't. Huh?
They did it for Eliwood and Hector, and even Lynn in Fire Emblem 7. Like they had like little portraits and expressions that changed. Like they
Yeah.
Oh, and they actually
they
did do
didn't
that
have
in
that.
Sacred Stones too. Like
they did?
Erica and Ephraim. Like when Ephraim like gave up like the stone to Leon. Well, he didn't give it up. That was Erica. Ephraim like lost to Leon, and he realized his friend was gone and completely gone, and just like his expression changed from like normal Ephraim to like sad little depressed Ephraim. Realized he's not as great as he is.
He's happy Ephraim.
Yeah, but
now
they
he's
don't
sad
do that.
Ephraim.
Yeah, they don't do it that
as
much. They don't
often.
do it enough
They-
to justify like the characters changing. They just do it here and there.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys have anything else you want to add to Echoes? Like,
Echoes is good. Go play it.
If you haven't played it already, just screw the heretics, screw everything. Just go play it. Screw IGN. They didn't give a proper review. Too many
I
boat
actually-
maps.
too much water. 10 out of 10.
Boat maps are
IGN's
great.
review.
Fight me. Oh wait, I forgot. Not Masana. The how like Mycen and how everything like that final battle like Assault on Rigel Keep. I think I already touched over this, but I think that is probably like one of my favorite moments in Fire Emblem history with how it was handled story wise and gameplay wise. Just how it changes from normal mode to hard mode. Just how much it changes, just based on positioning and stats. And then you have like this big reveal, and everything feels just so weighted heavy on Alm, and it's just amazing. Great game.
You had an impact there too. Because while I was playing it, like when they were revealing, you know, Luke, I'm your father. Sorry, Alm, I'm your father. I was getting a little heartbroken, even when afterwards Mycen was talking about Alm's father.
And then the
I
memory
was getting
prism.
Yeah, and the memory prism especially. I was getting choked up, but I didn't think there was like enough build up or enough like clues to assume. Like, I mean, yeah, Alm was obviously royalty because of the brand, but
and the
I guess
and the royal sword, but like they
Yeah.
built it up enough to where you kind of knew what was going on, but once
so
it hit, what
I'm
Rudolph
justified is
said-
what I'm hearing. I'm justified, like, into feeling this way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
You know what? You know what I almost did one time?
What?
I was on like this part where I was just like, I really wanted to get a bunch of gold coins, so I'm like, go sell everything in my inventory, like go turn into 4s I can get for gold coins. And I stopped at 1. I'm like, 3 gold coins. What could this be? And then I like check just to make sure it's not something that I wanted. So I check and I say like, oh, it's the keepsake ring Berkut gave me while he was dying. And I'm like, good thing I didn't forge that in.
Oh my god.
I almost gave up Berkut's last dying wish, like through a side event.
The reason.
Oh, did you guys know? Did you guys know really quick
What?
that if you send like if you put the Roy amiibo on, that the Binding Blade can kill Duma?
Baller.
Oh my
Which
god,
I have
that
no
is
idea
awesome.
why.
The Binding Blade is even more OP than it was before.
I know, but why? Why? It's like it doesn't make sense because it's not the Falchion. The Binding
Well,
Blade was,
actually,
okay, I know what you're talking about. Like, it was
Nosferatu.
originally made to slay the dragons in the Scouring, right?
Yeah, but you can also kill Duma with Nosferatu, like
You
in
can?
Gaiden. Yeah, I
Oh,
killed
Gaiden.
on my second playthrough. I killed Duma with Tatiana.
Oh,
She did 3 damage.
That's actually really funny.
I wanted to kill Duma with Delphia because one of her win quotes is, "Who do you bow down to now?"
Oh,
But sadly, she
that
can't.
would have been so
Yeah,
cool.
she can't. Well, she can like deal damage to her, but when you can actually see like numbers, everything's nullified except for Falchion, Nosferatu, and Binding Blade.
So, also for the amiibos, Ragnar can't kill Duma. So someone in the comments here is just like, well, guess Ragnar wasn't blessed by Yune.
But Ragnar was blessed by Yune.
At this point, apparently.
No. Ragnar was blessed to kill to kill
Ashura?
Ashera. Not exactly
I know, but
like
it's like-
dragon gods. So.
I don't. Yeah. Dragon gods. That's such a specific thing, but it happens so many times at Fire Emblem, it's not even funny.
So this was our huge ass commentary / podcast on Fire Emblem Echoes. I know this is a little bit longer than my usual content, but whatever. It's my channel. You guys can unsubscribe.
And
whatever.
our channels too.
Yeah, do what you want.
And our
bro.
channels too.
Yeah. So I have here with me Lectorn,
Hi.
and I have Tullus.
Hey,
He says hi too.
I said hello.
You said hey.
Oh,
You're wrong.
whatever.
You can't remember what you said 5 seconds ago. Don't worry, it's fine because I have short-term memory loss. What was I talking about?
So if you guys are interested in these fine gentlemen, how can we
Be
contact
interested in
you?
me, please. I'm
Oh my
desperate.
god. Just whatever. Lectorn, how can we contact you?
I have a YouTube channel and I also have a Discord.
Do you have a Twitter?
Yes, I do.
Cool. What are they?
My YouTube is Lectorn and a Game. My Twitter is @LectornYT. And my Discord is Lectorn #2521.
Cool. Tullus, you have a YouTube.
Yep, and that's about all
What
I
is it?
have. It's called
Well, you
Lord
also
Tullus
have a
9,
Discord.
and it's basically where I just do Let's Plays and stuff. Just Fire
So-
Emblem, Zelda, that kind of stuff.
All right. Again, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves, and yeah, I can't end this, so I'm just gonna stop it.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, and I guess please go subscribe to my channel.